Today, we're going to go over the college football and NFL weekend previews, craft up winners for tonight, and let's cash a squad ride. This is Behind the Lines. We're beating Vandy, by the way. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Sure.
You guys want to buy this jersey? I just got it. Wore it one time down in Chapel Hill. Fucking dumb.
The only win seen in that jersey is by the Frogs. That's unbelievable.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Friday, the best BTL of the week, episode 793 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. If you are not tracking your bets on Pickets, what are you doing? Start tracking your bets today on the best bet tracking app out there by far on the App Store or Google Play. Pickets. Sign up with code BOOKIT and start tracking your bets over there today on the best app by far. If you're an everyday sports bettor, I use that app every single day. You should as well. Okay, Jovan, happy Friday, my man. How we doing?
Doing good, Krabs. Excited to get to the weekend stuff. And tonight.
Yeah.
Great games tonight.
Great games tonight. The Hokies play tonight. Sure.
Yeah, that might be the one moose knock part of the night. Hopefully not, though.
If they don't win and cover, I'm fucking ruined. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. W chats, W vibes today. Guys, I feel bad. It was a shit day yesterday. You guys deserve better than what you got yesterday with the plays. After all the subbies, all the vibes, you guys deserved way better. With the Sharp Reports, way better on the NFL lineup, way better on the Sharp Report four-man, the whole shebang. Okay, so we're going to bounce back today. Spent some extra time this morning crafting up winners for this weekend, crafting up winners for tonight. We are going to bounce back. Luckily, we do have the college football and NFL weekend previews. We're going to get our lick back this weekend, and it starts tonight. Okay? A couple subbies already coming in here. W. Kyle B. Let's have a day, fellas. Get you a V8 and watch the Hokies game tonight. Yes, sir, Kyle B. Cannot have said it better myself.
What's the state of that V8, man?
I have not touched it today. That's for sure. And my mouth just feels permanently salty, like I just got out of the ocean. So that's probably from yesterday. Yep. We got Finessed by Jay. How about a 10-stream streak? I've not seen that before. Props and Chops and Finessed by Jay getting involved with 10-stream streaks. That might be a record. ZC Nukes getting involved. Slate of the year this weekend. Let's lock in. Yeah, you said it, not me, ZC Nukes. You said it, not me. This might be the best slate of the year this weekend. Might be. We got Pat Burke getting involved as well. 3-stream streak. How about VB _EJ getting involved as well? 10-stream streak. You guys are goated. We got DeGen getting involved and the party of 43. We got your whole private back room ready, DeGen and DeGen squad. We appreciate you guys getting involved. T Crizzy Bets as well. 10-stream streak. These don't grow on trees, folks. Token Picks getting involved with a resub. Sure. Bang. Come on, Token Picks. Come on, Token Picks. Atta boy. Wow, Hype Train moving and grooving. Maybe we could follow up today with what we did yesterday. Wouldn't that be something? That'd be damn near impossible. What a day yesterday. Over 500 subs. You guys are so goated. And again, you deserve better. So why don't we go ahead and get another recaps here. Squad ride. That was a now.
Yep. Horrific try. Hand up. Not the Blues. It was never the Blues.
It happens.
We'll have
nightmares
it too about that first period.
Well, I liked it too. Did not hit. That's okay. Let's move. W. Tinlin Tutan getting involved. 5-stream streak. Have a nice weekend, Krabs and Jovan and Goots and chat. Book it, goat. The Gen 13 love. Okay. I don't know what that means, Tinlin Tutan, but I like it.
That's it.
Okay, I appreciate you, my man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's emotes. Okay, very cool. Happy BTL Friday, fellas. W. James, W. DeGen Squad getting involved. Cash Cow, Barty Bart, the one and only Casper. Appreciate you guys joining and getting involved. Okay? Dubs. Let's go ahead and recap the Sharp Report from yesterday. Let's go ahead and recap that puppy. Not good for me. You did all right, 3-2. Jay Huff, it was way too sharp. I'll say it.
Way too sharp, man.
Way too sharp. That was too cute and too sharp.
But double OT game, I'm taking the next game. We'll be
Dude,
playing. We'll be getting some
again,
minutes.
it's not worth it.
So worth
But
it.
probably a combo for another time. Drop
So
those
worth
golden kappas, chat. They don't last very long. I think we only got a couple more hours left of the golden kappas. So drop those puppies while you got them. Again, I don't know what those are, but I like them. Drop those puppies in the chat. Who knows how much longer you got these pups? Okay. Dubs, South Alabama was free. The over in South Alabama was free. Penguins team total was a horrendous bet. The Vikings was a horrendous bet. I even double dipped and bet them full game plus 3.5 after I saw Trent all over the Chargers, and that was a shit move. Shit move. It was. Herbert, less than a pick. Terrible square. Meistas, they hit all the time, man. You just remember the losers and only bring up the losers, and you don't remember the winners. So I don't have time to go over that. They hit all the time. And there's one for this weekend. I want you guys to tail as well. Okay? Dubs. Penguins might be back. Penguins might be back.
Panthers might still be rat.
Yeah. They might. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. I want to go and hop in for today's plays. We don't have a ton of time today. We got a lot to get to today. So if we want to get to all the NFL plays, all the college football plays, and all the sell jobs, why don't we go ahead and hop in and talk about the Sharp Report for today and get involved. Okay, appreciate you goats watching in the YouTube and the Twitch. We are live on both the YouTube and the Twitch. Get involved. Appreciate you guys being active in the chat. And it starts out perfectly here with the Hokies. Yep. What a card, huh? We got the Hokies lane 6. They shouldn't be lane 6 to anybody. We got Calgary, one of the worst teams we've ever seen on the ice, catching about 40 cents of steam. And we got the Trailblazers, whose coach was rigging poker games in their first game against the undefeated Steph Currys. I'm not even going to call them the Warriors. I'll call them the Steph Currys. And by the way, I take full blame for Steph Curry going off last night. I think he had like 6 threes. No longer on pace. No longer on pace for that season-long under. But, hey, still looking better than Trae Young. And, hey, we got another game tonight. So maybe they clamp him up.
Yeah,
maybe they clamp him up. We'll see.
Won't have all overtime games either.
Yep. Facts. 3 classic Krabs plays here. Why don't we get started with the Hokies? Jovan, if this team wasn't the Hokies, if this was another team that was just right in there and, at home tonight on Friday Night Football and, they were laying 6 when they opened up 2.5 and they were, 2-5, I believe is the Hokies record here. If it was another team that was in this spot, I'd be betting this favorite too. This has nothing to do with VT. This has everything to do with the spot. You got 5-2 Cal, who is starting to finally show their true colors here. And coming back down to earth in their last couple games after a great start. They're coming off that win in their last game, sure, but that was against Bill Belichick and UNC. They're horrendous, doesn't count. Before that, they got crushed by Duke. They got shut out by San Diego State last month as well. So after a hot start to the season, your guy at QB, he's good, but he's also starting to show that he's human as well. He threw 3 picks against Duke. He's thrown 6 picks in his last 4 games. So starting to show he's human. Not saying he's bad. He's actually going to be pretty good. It's only a freshman. But playing in Blacksburg on a Friday night, that's a tough atmosphere. Coming all the way across the country, their longest road trip of the season, Jovan. That's a tough spot for your guy under center. And that's a tough spot for the Cal Bears, a 5-2 team that opened up plus 2.5, and now they're up to plus 6. Jovan, the Hokies are 2-5, man. They don't deserve any of this credit. Maybe they should be a pick'em in this spot, right? They're home. We know Lane Stadium carries a lot of weight. Weird Friday night game. It's going to be fucking loud in there. They could be 0-7, and that place is going to be jumping tonight to enter Sandman. Why are they up to 6.5? Why are they up to 6 on the spread? I'll tell you why. They are going to run the ball down Cal's throats. They got Hawkins, and he's not even going to be the starting running back, in this game tonight. So you know why? My dude, the bowling ball from Bowling Green, Terrion Stewart, is back in action, Jovan, tonight. Future NFL running back. I'm telling you right now, if you have not watched this kid play, he's an absolute dog, a bowling ball. He never goes down on that first tackle. Usually it takes 2 or 3 guys to take him down. He's an absolute beast. He's coming off some extra rest. He missed the last game as well. And the Hokies have had some extra time to prep for this game too. So give me VT. Give me the Hokies, -6. If it was any other team in this spot, 2-5, catching 4 points of steam at home against this trendy Cal squads and their trendy QB and Ron Rivera, I would still be taking it. Has nothing to do with the Hokies. Just so happens it fell right into place, and we get to bet on my Virginia Tech Hokies tonight. So W play, they're covering, they're winning big time. They win by 10 plus. Drones is going to run the ball and look like Jalen Hurts in this game. Nobody's talking about it, but he's looked much better the last couple of weeks. He's had extra time to prep for this Cal defense, and they're going to run the ball down Cal's throats with Hawkins and Terrion Stewart. Dynamic duo like Sonic and Knuckles on the lines.
Man, you're going to tell me you're going to have Ron Rivera there, no boots on ground? That's pretty soft. I agree with Cal B.
Brother, I'm not going to Blacksburg until they win a game that matters. I'm not going to Blacksburg until they do their job. Foot down. Foot down. We've talked about this. I want to go back so bad, but they haven't earned it. I'm not giving them a handout visit. I'm not going down there to make content. I'm not going down there to be happy and celebrate the school that I graduated from. I can't.
Unbelievable.
I can't. Did I pull the booster coin? Oh, you mean the $100 I give them a year? No, I have not. I will still be donating $100. That was just me being emotional. Don't fade 86. I'm going to contribute my part. Okay, my $100. It's certainly going to make a difference. Is still going to VT. Okay, we got Sade Whiteman getting involved. Let's go, Sade. Attaboy. Jewel break from Hovey. Can't cash that in. Keep that for Trent on the coin toss. Live coin toss after this.
Yeah.
I believe. Let's fucking go. Sade, you're him. We appreciate you, Beast. DJR Love getting involved. Dropping a resub as well, Jovan. Keep moving and grooving. Happy Friday. WDJR Love. We appreciate you, Beast. Token picks as well. You're goated. I think I already shouted you out. But W Hype Train, W Subbies, W Vibes on a Friday. And yeah, W Coin Leans live right after this. That could be Dr. Love in the chats.
Nah.
Dr. Love, we're going to need him tonight. Just like Tress Way, the best player on the field for the Commanders. Dr. Love, the best player on the field for the Hokies. You know he's getting involved after doing nothing last game. 100% he is. I almost took him on the Sharp Report for the Squares. Almost.
Well, I hope he doesn't get involved, Krabs. I hope he doesn't.
Well,
because I'm taking the over.
Let's go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, total moved up a couple points. For what reason, I really don't know, because Cal's offense always shows up in one half of a game, and then it's ghost the other half, and then they've played a bunch of lower scoring defensive games for the most part outside of the Duke game, and VT has done relatively the same thing. They've had a couple of their really bad defensive performances, but nothing's really like blowing your socks off offensively for them, and we've known that for a while now. But I think this total is moving up because of a couple things. I agree with you. I think Cal's going to the defense is going to struggle a little bit against the run, no matter who it is. But I also think at some point they're going to load the box against the run game, and not for the long stretch of the game, but I totally see some long drone strikes coming in this game. And I think he's going to have a couple explosive plays, which is crazy to say out loud, but I think that's how they're going to beat them. And I also think with what we've seen from Haynes King, from Robbie Ashford against this defense, they play a little conservative, a little deep off the wide receivers, just because the front seven is as good as it is, which that to get pressure on JKS is big, but it's also like if you give him stuff that's underneath, that's where he's been really good. He's been much, much worse in the last couple of games of getting anything over the top, like the teams that play press man, or like last week they played press on Tron Grizel and Bill completely took them out of the game. So like those teams he's actually really struggling against, and those looks, which I think he's going to get minimal of that from VT today. So I think at the very least, no matter how the game shakes out, I think it's going to be back and forth with points for a little bit. And I can't tell you the last time I've seen a Cal total move up. It's been a bit.
Okay. Yeah, weird seeing a total move up in Lane Stadium in a night game when that Hokies team has relied on defense for the last decade or so. Pretty weird. I agree. I like the Hokies better, but I certainly don't lean the under in the game. I'll tell you that much. So you're telling me John Love more than 2.5 PATs, mate?
That might be Ma.
Is a square you'd be interested in?
That might be Ma. Yeah.
Okay. Can I give you guys a fun fact here about the Hokies?
Oh, boy.
Since we're talking about the Hokies, it's Hokie Day. We got Thanksgiving around the corner. Pretty cool piece of VT history here behind their mascot name. Former VPI coach, and if you don't know VPI, you don't know ball. That's what the school used to be called, VPI. Branch Bocock was the old coach back in the day when the team first started. He was out doing NIL deals back in the day, This is before NIL was big, before it was secret, before now it's all public and ridiculous and out of hands. They still did NIL back in the day. This guy, Branch Bocock, he went to the coal mines a couple hours away, and he found Richard, aka Dick Gobbler IV, one of the biggest boosters back in the day for the Hokies. Swear to God. Swear to God. And that's what they named the mascot after for the school. So he said, coach said, all right, we need some money from you. He goes, all right, we'll give you some money. Rich family, the Gobblers. Okay. He's, Dick the Fourth, right? He said, we'll give you the money, but you need to name the team after us. And that's where they got the Gobblers name, the initial name, the VPI Gobblers, Virginia Polytech Institute Gobblers. And they've since changed to the Virginia Tech Hokies. Pretty cool.
Dick Gobbler
Pretty cool.
the Fourth.
Dick Gobbler the Fourth. I wish I was kidding.
Nah.
I wish I was kidding. Real.
That might get me on Cal tonight, man.
Nope. That is all Hokies all day. Yep. Unbelievable.
God damn it, man.
That means there was 3 more of those puppies and probably a couple after Big Cheesy. A couple are Dick Gobblers. Yep.
Yeah, one wasn't enough.
Oh, man. Unbelievable, man. I wish I was kidding, but I'm looking at pictures that are in black and white of Branch Bocock, the old coach, and Richard Gobbler the Fourth. They're real.
Branch Bocock and Whit Babcock.
Yeah, that's probably why they signed Whit Babcock. Unbelievable. What a school, huh?
That's just.
What a school. All right. Let's swing it around. Goots, any thoughts on that story? Or I thought we get a comment or a chuckle out of you there. Nothing?
Oh, I was geeking back here.
Okay.
Insane story.
Okay.
Dick Gobbler, the Fourth.
Don't forget it.
Love to meet that guy someday.
Okay. Are we going to get he probably died 200 years ago, Goots.
Yep.
Are we going to get a Goots bounce back POD tonight? I don't want to go into it. I'm not here to roast you. Okay, we all go through cold streaks, Goots.
Yep.
But are we going to get a bounce back POD for tonight?
I mean,
I don't want you to give up, and I know you're not a quitter.
It's been bounce back PODs for 6 days, but
once you get the first one though, we're going.
Once that first domino falls, though, Goots,
it's going to take a lot for me not to do the Blue Jays.
Wow.
But I know I shouldn't.
Okay.
And there's definitely bias in that pick, yes, but I really do like this is. I've liked this better than I've liked the Brewers at any time during that series.
Okay. I
really think they win this game. I'm not saying they win the series, but I really think they win this game.
If they win this game, they can win the series.
You're right, but I'm not going to stand up here and say they're going to win the series because I'm trying to be serious.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
I respect that.
Should I get away from hockey? I'm 0-6 on hockey.
I think you stick with it, man.
I
know
do.
how my brain
agree
works.
with
I think you go 2 units tonight on the ice. Honestly, get a couple units back.
All right.
No,
we're not going 2 units.
2 U bounce back.
Do that.
It'll be on the feed later, and yeah.
Start martingale. See how long you can go. Start doubling down.
You know, I have to start Arbin bets.
You could start Arbin.
Good.
Look into that. Yep.
Can't forget you had some sharp Arb bets in Vegas.
Yeah, for sure did.
People do forget those. All right. W chat, W Goots. Hype train moving and grooving. Okay. Snacks getting involved with the subby. Snacks, you're him. I think you're going to like when we get to the NFL weekend preview. I'll tell you right now. I think you're going to like it. Tyler Johnson, Jovan, boots on ground in Memphis tomorrow. We still nuking the Tigers after the collapse last week. I think their QB's hurt. Jovan, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to assume by looking at the spread that Brendan Lewis is not playing. If he was playing, that would be my favorite play of the weekend easily, but I'm guessing he is out for a bit, which is unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate, but very fortunate for Navy.
Yeah.
And their playoff hopes. But hey, they got a lot of work to do as well coming up. Is it still possible Boise State can make the college football playoffs? I don't think we have time to talk about that right now, but
no.
I think there's a lane.
No.
I do.
I don't think there's a world where an American team is not the playoff rep.
Okay. I mean, yeah, they need some teams to lose. The Broncos would. But if they win out, maybe some weird chaos happens in the American. Some teams beat up on each other, and next thing you know, everybody's got 2 losses. Maybe the Broncos sneak in after 10 wins in a row or 9 wins in a row, right?
It really hurts that one of the teams from the American they'd be competing against, they lost by 4 touchdowns to start the year.
That is a good point. Maybe your Memphis squad could pull out an upset win, make USF look a little bit worse after this weekend. We'll see.
Hey, if it's AJ Hill starting, not a shot in hell. That dude is fucking horrid.
Okay. All right. Let's keep moving and grooving here. We're going to keep the sell jobs as quick as we can for tonight. That way we can dive in more to the plays this weekend that we love. Can I take you guys to the ice? Is that cool? Let me take you guys to the Calgary Flames. And every time I look at them, they're even less of a dog. They're catching immense amounts of steam. They opened up plus 150. They're down to plus 115 some places. They're plus 130 when I put them in this fucking Sharp Report graphic. They're 1-6-1. They're atrocious. They've lost a bunch of games in a row. Winnipeg has been on absolute fire of late. I know they're coming off a loss in their last game. They got shut out by the Kraken. They finally showed they're human. But before that, I think they ripped off 5 straight wins in a row. So perfect buy low, sell high spot overall for how these two teams are trending. Calgary can't buy one. Winnipeg has won 4 of their last 5. They're looking like an absolute juggernaut right now. But we know they're going to come back down to earth. And we know this Calgary Flames team is not as bad as they've shown of late. So on a Friday night, I think they catch the Winnipeg Jets sleeping here a hair at home, Jovan. And it looks like the sharpest play on the ice tonight. I know there's only 4 games tonight, but them catching all the steam on the road, why are they catching steam? Maybe there's some goalie stuff going on here, but either way, looks like the sharpest play on the ice, and I want in. I think they finally get a big-time win, Calgary, and they stop this 6-game losing streak. They nip it in the bud right now tonight against Winnipeg on the road when the people least expect it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the Flames. I think I'm going to end up taking this over. Only thing that scares me a little bit is the fact that the Jets just got shut out last night, which is kind of moose.
Yeah.
But after getting your team or calling out your offense, score some fucking goals because I'm standing on my head, you know they're going to come out fired up.
Okay. Yeah. I got nothing else to counter with that. I like the over, and I like the Flames on the ML. Okay. Dubs, let's keep moving and grooving. What else are you crafting up tonight, Jovan? Going to Sacramento State game versus Montana tonight. Quavo's performing at halftime in Montana. No. Big Cheesy. No. That's insane. No. How much they pay him to come out there and perform? That's insane, dude. What? That's a big FCS game tonight.
It's got to be in Sacramento, at least not Montana. That makes
Is it in Sacramento? Little more sense. Lil Yachty performed last week. What, bro? Okay.
Dude, man.
That's insane. That's insane. All right, Jovan, you want to take us to the NBA?
Yeah, I'll take it to the Hawks. One of the more embarrassing performances out of opening night for these teams. They look fucking horrible. And a lot of it, of course, was defensively, which is always the problem. They gave up 140 points to the Raptors. But you know what doesn't really get talked about out of some of the performances because they won and snuck one by? The Magic defense wasn't that much better. And that was against a Heat team. I was shocked watching that game because you kind of knew like the Magic, they brought over offensive pieces like D-Bane is huge. A couple of the shooters they have now and there is huge. So it's a little different makeup of a team, but the Heat got whatever they wanted at the rim, and the Heat out-rebounded them with a lineup that is pretty small, not physical. So I'm kind of interested to see if that's a trend that's going to continue because that was a lot what the Raptors were doing to hurt the Hawks in that game. Like, sure, they were getting to the rim with ease, but they're also out-rebounding them by a shit ton. They're way more physical than them, especially on the defensive end. So, like, I don't think this Magic team is really built up like that right now. And after just an atrocious performance, and even though they scored 118 points themselves, like, the offense wasn't great for the Hawks either. Like, they threw a bunch of different looks at them with a bunch of different bodies. They had different guys on Trae Young every single time. He wanted to shoot, not pass. Kristaps needs to be burned for what he was doing shooting in that game, and nobody really found their footing. This feels like the game to find their footing on the road. The Hawks are always dog meat when they have these, I don't know, initial games against big dogs, especially when they're in Atlanta, and now you get to go on the road to Orlando at a team that I think defensively is not going to be nearly as good as we think this season. So this feels like the perfect time to test that theory and figure it out.
Great sell job. I'm in. Ryder in the YouTube chat loves the Hawks tonight for some reason. Huge.
Hawks.
Huge. Okay. God, I wish I looked at this FCS slate for tonight. I'm not going to lie to you. Two games tonight on the FCS slate.
A couple of FCS plays this weekend that are catching my eye, Krabs.
Okay.
I took a peek.
Damn. I like Columbia tonight, 1-4, catching 2 points of steam down to 11.5 against 4-1 Dartmouth. But I really like Sacramento State, the game we were talking about earlier, down from plus 8.5 to plus 6 against undefeated Montana, the Grizzlies. Very, very good FCS squad Montana is. They're always in the action. They're always in the playoffs. They actually had Logan Fife as their QB last year. He was much better there last year than he's been this season back in the FBS. But Sac State as well. They got Brennan Marion, the offensive coordinator, I believe, who was at UNLV the last couple of years. This dude is an offensive genius. And the Sac State team, they have a couple losses for beginning of the season, but they're also a very respected FCS program. I really like them plus 6.5 here at home. Maybe even handy Montana, the Grizzlies, their first loss of the season in the FCS, especially if Quavo's performing at halftime. Are you kidding me? That has to be a must bet. I'll say it.
Must bet.
I'll say it. Has to be bet. Has to be bet. All right, let's move. Let's groove. Goots, I got one more straight bet for tonight on the Sharp Reports. And how about the Trailblazers, Jovan? You're on this one as well. Love to see it, guys. This one's simple. Okay. This falls in the coach's fired bucket. Okay. He technically did get fired. Maybe that's not what they're talking about right now, but he did get fired. He ain't coaching ever again. Okay. He's going to be in jail in a couple months. Absolutely absurd. But he won't be coaching anytime soon. Technically, he did just get fired. And again, if you bet these in any sport, Jovan, you're making coins. I'm still mad at myself, kicking myself in the butt for not taking Oregon State, the Beeve, last week against Lafayette or Lehigh, I forget, but they covered and won by like 40 in that game. And I'm pretty mad. Pretty fucking mad. I didn't take that. But again, I took Penn State to cover last weekend. That hit after they fired their coach. And I also took one other play that's escaping my mind here, where their coach got fired and they covered with ease. Oh, against Memphis. Of course.
Yeah, UAB.
Sorry for bringing that up. But UAB won outright in the coaches fired system. So, guys, you have to play these coaches fired squads. Don't care what league it's in. You have to bet it. And what a weird spot. This might be even weirder. This might have to be a 2-unit play after the shit that's going on right now. Who the heck wants to bet on this Portland Trailblazers team, Jovan, after it's found out that their coach is, doing illegal poker games and working with the mob, and who knows what else he's saying or doing? Who knows what he's saying, to these guys to bet on when he's at these rigged poker games, and the whole thing is just sketchy. So I feel like we have not heard the end all be all of that situation yet. First off, second off, mandatory bet on the team whose coach just got fired for rigging poker games and rigging poker tables. It has to be done, because I think there's some sketchy sports betting stuff probably going on there that they have not uncovered yet, but we'll find out in a couple months here. But it's a mandatory bet, Jovan. Plus 1.5 here in this spot as well. They've already lost one game. Golden State undefeated. Golden State played last night. They won that game in an overtime thriller. Golden State looks great to start the season, 2-0, and they're barely favorites in this spot against Portland, who just fired their coach for the sketchiest shit of all time. Has to be done. Has to be bet. This might have to be a 2-unit coach going to jail POD. Give me the Trailblazers plus 1-0.
Has to be done. And I'm right there with you. And shout out to V Hopper in the chat. It says Oak State coach got fired and they got smoked the following week. They covered. So that was another one that falls into the system. So I guess you didn't know the line, unfortunately, but it's all good. And we ride back here again. I especially think it's third game in 4 days for the Warriors now to start the season. You just saw not only an overtime game last night, but a game where a lot of the starters, you already know they're going to be resting a handful of them. I think Horford is not playing any back-to-backs, and you saw like Draymond, Kuminga, Steph all played damn near 40 minutes, I guess, for the entirety of the game yesterday. So God knows who will end up seeing playing here, but regardless, even if this was a no coaches fired system, nothing else involved, no back-to-backs involved, I'd still probably take the Blazers here, to be honest with you. I think this team not only has a different level of scoring, but I think with Drew Holiday like in the fold now, like a real point general that they sorely lacked, because they're going through the Anthony Simons experiment for a little bit last year, and that's been the key of his development. Like now that they play like some of these smaller teams, which the Warriors definitely fit that bucket, it's a little easier for them to facilitate and kind of find scoring pockets for guys like Denny. He'll be facilitating too, but for guys like Denny, for guys like Jeremy Grant, for like all those guys like down there that have been in this system, and then obviously some pieces have moved. Now I feel like it's a better fit team to attack these smaller teams. They had a lot of trouble doing that in the past couple of years, and now I think this is their best chance.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for this one tonight. I'm making it a 2-unit play. 2-unit prison POD. I'm in.
Prison POD. The first
2-unit
ever.
prison POD. Yep. All right. W sell job there. We got an interesting question here in the YouTube. I'll make this one quick, although first-time chatter in the Twitch as well. Atlanta money line. Okay. W Mouthguard. He's with you there, Jovan. W first-time chatter. Yes, that will be in the squad ride poll for tonight. Don't you guys worry, CKE. Don't you guys worry. That puppy will be in there. Connor Love. This guy could be related to Dr. Love. Hokies kicker. Krabs, you think all this rig stuff is going to get all the fun shut down? No, the fun's never going to get shut down, Connor. Maybe the fun gets pulled back a hair. But again, I think the books are going to do whatever they can to keep the fun, keep the party rolling. We need less sketchy stuff like this to happen and come out. But again, the NBA tried to cover it up and sweep it under the rug. Obviously, some higher powers got involved and exposed it a little bit. But, these leagues, if there's sketchy stuff going on, they're going to do whatever they can to cover this shit up and make sure the show goes on. So not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that's how it is. And if the FBI didn't come knocking on Adam Silver's door, none of this stuff would even be happening and it would have been handled in-house, I guess is my point. The show will go on. The books will do whatever they have to keep the party going. Okay, for better or worse. Let's keep moving and grooving. Let's take a peep at the Prize Pick squares. Gosh, Jovan, this Giannis chart, it's completely green. Now, a lot of those games are from last year. Okay, but I had my eyes on this puppy against the Wizards, and I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to take the less than this time. The Wizards suck. We'll wait till game 2. If it goes over, if he goes more than against the Wizards, I'll take Giannis less than boards in game 2 against the Raptors tonight. Jovan, I was looking at it, labbing this morning. It was at 12. Next thing you know, it gets bumped down to 11.5. Next thing you know, I check the odds in the books, and the under is juiced on the books now at 11.5. So some serious steam down on this rebound square for Giannis, which I thought was super weird. In a game, I think they might even lose to Toronto. He's a -1.5 favorite here at home. The total in this game opened up a little bit lower than I thought. I know it's gotten steamed up to 234, but it opened up in the 220s, which I thought was a decent sign for, maybe some slower, gameplay here, maybe some longer possessions here. Not as quick of a run and gun type of offense that we've seen Milwaukee and Giannis just kind of dribble down the court and literally yamming in people's face at time. I think you see some slower possessions in this game, close game. Hopefully it draws out the possessions a little bit, less opportunities for rebounds for Giannis. And I can't deny it being pretty damn sharp, the under on the books, getting steamed down a half of rebounds, and with the under now juicy on the books as well. Could not resist this one and could not resist the chart for Giannis tonight, Jovan, who will have a tougher matchup down low in the paint to grab rebounds tonight against the Raptors than he did against my Wizards.
Needs to happen. Raptors got a bunch of bodies in there too, so it's not like they
Plenty
can't
of
rebound.
bodies. Plenty of bodies. Scotty Barnes, Jacob Poeltl, who's coming off the bench. That Murray Boyles kid who can't score to save his life, but he can play some defense. He can grab some boards. Who else am I missing?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to go to the bench. Just between Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, and Brandon Ingram. That's
Brandon Ingram.
Huge.
They got a big lineup.
Or 2 through 4.
Yep, they got a big lineup. You're right. You're right. It's going to be tough to grab 12 boards, I'll tell you that much. Looks like one of the sharper plays in the NBA. And then Bo Bichette. Goots, cover your ears, man. I didn't want you to have to hear this, man. I know you're a big Blue Jays fan this weekend, but I got to fade Bo Bichette. Rushing him back in the lineup. What are they going to do? If he's healthy, they got to play him. After the season he had, they got to play him. But Jovan, rust in a situation like this, when the lights are brightest, at home in a World Series game, that does not give me great vibes for Mr. Bo Bichette back in the lineup here after a month off. It really doesn't. And the under on this 1.5 on the books is juiced. Okay. He's got his hands full. And look, you could say what you want about Blake Snell and the squares he has up on Prize Picks. I know it looks like he's not going to have his best start. At this point, when do you just start respecting Blake Snell, who just consistently goes out there every fucking start and shoves? In the playoffs, his ERA is a 0.86. Absolutely absurd. Dude has been shoving like no other in the postseason, carrying this Dodgers team. And Bo Bichette, it might not be lefty-lefty, but Bo Bichette's going to have his hands full to a crafty veteran in the prime of his career, absolutely dialed in right now, trying to win World Series MVP potentially if he could pitch twice, maybe 3 times if they need him, if it goes to 7. But, God, that's a tough matchup coming right back from the IL after missing a month of baseball. Finally getting back in, seeing some live pitching. You got to face Blake Snell and that nasty curveball. And then you got to see that Dodgers bullpen that's waking up and now alive in the playoffs. Good freaking luck, Bo Bichette. Good luck. Tough matchup. I'll take Bo Bichette less than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs.
Yep. I'm kind of in on that. Just better hope he's not on base for Mr. Alejandro Kirk.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
I just wanted a guy, which, truthfully, going through the board, I think the easiest thing to do this postseason was, for a majority of them, is go through the fantasy board and see which square looks a little off by the number. Like it's largely click and pray, or has been click and pray the way you could have bet a lot of these hitters during the postseason. But this one was that combined with like actual thinking, because the Blue Jays are not going to strike out. Like, I like Blake Snell's less than strikeouts, and I still think he's going to have a pretty good start, but the Blue Jays are going to swing at fastballs early. The best hitter when that happens, like, you can argue Springer, you can argue Vladdy, but they're just great hitters overall. If there's a guy in here, especially against a lefty, who I want to jump on a fastball early and not get himself into a deep count and take it pretty much where it's pitched, it's Alejandro Kirk, which is probably why he's got pretty easily, I would say, out of all the Blue Jays, the weirdest looking fantasy score, especially compared to like what some of the other guys like Ernie Clement and Nathan Lucas have been doing so far in the postseason in the last handful of games. I think this is the golden matchup for it. I think if there's anybody who can get a little shred of an offense in the middle of that lineup against Blake Snell, I think it is absolutely Alejandro Kirk, and he's going to be the key to driving in, I think, any runs they have from the middle of that lineup. So I'm taking him. Then Denny, we just talked about. I don't know what the Warriors are going to do today as far as lineups go, both because like guys are potentially sitting and we'll see how they roll with a big, but it's either going to be one of two things. You're either going to play extremely small and try and play Donovan Clingan off the floor, which I think is great for Denny because he's going to be the real big on the floor. So he's going to have plenty of rebound chances. He's also going to facilitate to move them around and everything will be great. But they also could just put a lot of movement, I guess, into Donovan Clingan and try to play him off the floor in a different way, which again, I think also opens it up for Denny Avdia, at least in the rebounding and assist game, to kind of be involved there. And those are on the feet a little bit today, but he's coming off like one of the weirdest games ever. He shot tour dates from the field. A lot of that was from three. He had a billion rebound chances, didn't come through on all of them. He had even more, I guess, assist chances compared to what he actually got, which that's on the feed, and I've seen that. So this is like a Denny spot, I think, to dominate, especially against a smaller team. I think he's been the cog to that for the entirety of the last, year and a half when they faced these teams. And now you have Drew, which is great. I think that's more room to facilitate towards Denny's way. I think he's going to dominate them.
Did we mean to take his PR, or did it get bumped up this fat up to 33.5 on his PRA?
I think he got bumped up this fat.
Do you think there's a chance that maybe we were looking at the wrong square originally, or because his PR is at 28.5, but his PRA is at 33.5?
I think it just got straight bumped up.
Damn. Okay. You like him at 33.5 PRA?
That's fat. Yes.
Okay.
Tripped up Denny.
That is insane. All right. Well, let's keep moving and grooving. W squares for today. And Kirk, man, let's hope he doesn't do too much damage. Maybe a couple singles, maybe a run himself, but no RBIs. No RBIs, bringing in Bo at least.
Yeah,
you bringing anybody else?
RBIs, just not Bo.
Yeah, just not Bo. Just not Bo. Okay. All right, let's move. Let's groove. W plays for today. Quick trip to the ice. I'm just going to ask Jovan if he has any other plays he likes on the ice. There's only 4 games, and then we'll move on to the weekend previews. But I want to give the chat what they want, and that is Jovan, hockey plays.
Yeah, I don't really have too much other than what's going on in the Flames game. I thought about taking the Caps and like the call out the fake sharp spot because the Jackets have been hot, and I think they're going to have CBJ in a box defensively. It's the only thing I really considered other than Flames overs on the ice. So there's not too much there.
Maybe just one play, one winner on the ice, Flames ML or that over in the Flames game.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 plays, 2 winners. And then real quick, baseball game today. Goots, do you mind if we look at the splits and see what people are betting on in the World Series for tonight? And then we'll get to the weekend plays. If not, we could just talk about it. Totals at 7.5. Dodgers are catching 10 cents of steam up to minus 155 on the road here in Toronto, which is probably where they should be. I wouldn't say that's super fat. I wouldn't say that's short. I'd say that's probably where it should be. If it opened up any, if they opened up any less of a favorite, I would have started asking questions. But minus 145 opener, minus 155 now, probably where it should be. Splits are looking kind of where I expected them here. Dodgers are a little bit public, and the over is a little bit public too. So, Jovan, thoughts on World Series Game 1? Who's winning this game? Any plays on the total? Let the people know.
Yeah, not too much. I mean, the Dodgers are probably winning. It's Blake Snell against as much as I love him, it's Trey Savage making a World Series Game 1 start. Can't really catch me taking the Savage money line. But we'll be rooting in some form for the Jays.
Yeah. Rand Dope get involved. 5-stream streak for Rand Dope. You're good, my man, here for the long run. We appreciate you, Beast. If news broke, Krabs is going to be boots on ground at VT. The line will move up to -10. They have a suite now you can buy, and it's the shittiest looking suite ever. It's literally just a tent and some fucking lawn chairs on the field, right in one of the end zones down there in Blacksburg. One day, when they earn it, I'm going to get that suite, and we're all going to go to Blacksburg. But they have not even close to earned it yet. Step number 1 is get James Franklin. Step number 2 is fire Whit Babcock. Then maybe we'll talk about step number 3, Krabs to Blacksburg. Okay, they got a lot of work to do, though. DJ Lane, appreciate the subby. You're good, bro. All right, let's move. Let's groove. I got nothing in this World Series game. I'll just be hate watching LA and rooting for the Blue Jays. But, I mean, Blake Snell is going to go out there and probably shove once again. I don't have the sack to fade him anymore. Alex asking, do your bets sync to Pickett? Yeah, mine do. Alex F. And I think Javon's prize picks do.
Yeah.
But not the straight bets.
Can't do straight bets because you can't sink offshores. Unfortunately.
Yep. Step number 3, change Hokies back to the OG Gobblers. Yeah, Richie, I'm on board.
Virginia Tech Gobblers.
People sleep. People forget. Tech VPI. The VPI Gobblers. Okay. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's go to the plays for this weekend. Gootsy, if you don't mind, if you're around, run that shit. Let's talk college football. Weekend Preview. Let's start out with some snooze fests. Okay, let's start out with some unders that we like for this weekend slate. I talked to you guys earlier this week when we were doing look ahead lines. Said LSU is going to have to be played. Well, it might, but now I'm going to throw a bone in here. I'm going to throw a wrench into things. I love this under as well. I have now fallen in love with 2 plays in this LSU and A&M game. Jovan, I really like this under 49.5, man. I really like this under. I like the prize pick squares I'm seeing up there. I like LSU's defense in this spot, and I would not be surprised if their offense continues to sputter against the Aggies' defensive front. I'll be honest, Marcel Reed has been a GOAT. Concepcion is going to be an NFL player. But this is a tough atmosphere where I think you see them cool off offensively after scoring 45 points against one of the worst defenses in college football. In my opinion, this is the perfect time to fade. And if you look at some of the squares that are up for Texas A&M, I think you'll agree with me that they might not be scoring a ton of points in this game. You're not seeing Marcel Reed's passing yards higher than 221. His rushing yards is only in the 30s. If you look at the kicker squares, which I think are a little bit meaningful, if you look at the PATs made squares, he's coming off of 10 PATs in the last 4 games, 14 PATs in the last 3 games. He's coming off of 6 against Arkansas, where they just put up a 45 spot. And Jovan, they got Randy Bonds, who's a very good kicker in college football. Props to him, but he ain't kicking 4 PATs. They got him up for 3.5 PATs made. That makes me like the under, the team total under for Texas A&M, and makes me like LSU even more. And I'm a little bit worried about this LSU offense at this point. I am. It might just be at the point where they're just not as good, not as dynamic, and Garrett Nelson-Meyer is not as good as the guy we thought he was when he was potentially going number 1 overall in the draft. That's changed. They just lost to LSU. So I like the under in this game. This is the most important game in Brian Kelly's career down there in LSU, because if he loses this game, he's officially back on the hot seat again. Nerves, to me, equal unders. And then Texas A&M, talk about the ultimate letdown spot here. 7-0, ranked number 3 in the country. Sneaky spot for them to drop this game. And I do like LSU plus 2.5, my favorite number. But unders pay, unders feed fams. And this is an under that I like, with the total dropping from 52.5 to 49.5. With how powerful these offenses are on paper, I thought that sharp movement towards the under was pretty telling and pretty sketchy.
Might have to be. Shout out the defense. The only thing LSU's got.
Yep.
I like this under in the Michigan Bowl, whatever that rivalry is actually called. But Michigan State. Really, Michigan State has no offense unless they break off big run plays. That's the entirety of their offense. Aiden Childs actually had like a pretty good game against Indiana, and they still scored 13 points, which is, sure, you can argue a product of what Indiana can do, but like he moved the ball against that defense. It's just they don't score unless there's something on the ground happening. And Michigan's run defense is great. I know they had their moments against USC rush offense that put them in the box a little bit, but other than that, like their rush defense has been fantastic throughout this year, and I don't think that's going to change now. I think this is going to be a slow slogfest of a game, and you got Bryce Underwood, which I'm sure you'll talk about once we get to the squares, playing a road game in which he hasn't really looked good. His offense hasn't really looked good on the road outside of that one game against Nebraska. So I think expect more of the same there, and I think this is going to be a gross game. Michigan State's a little beat up. I feel like they're going to try and shorten the game here, shorten the possessions, and this is going to be a classic gross Big Ten type game.
I could see it. I think Michigan's offense struggles. We'll talk about that when we get to the Prize Pick squares. I like another play in this game, and you guys could probably guess what it is, but certainly leading the under as well with you, Jovan. And after hearing that sell job, I'm in. No points, no fun. I think Michigan struggles a little bit after their big time win last week.
Yep.
Okay. What's up? Hey, I'm Matt. W Streak getting involved. 5-stream streak for Hey, I'm Matt. We got Chief Tane getting involved, resubbing as well. W Chief Tane. W subbies. So many subbies this week. I appreciate you guys. Michigan rivalry game brought to you by SBR. Yep. Would not be surprised if we see that on the graphic during this game. Big game for SBR. Okay. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's go talk about some overs. Did my college football over hit last week? I'm trying to remember what it was. I know my NFL one hit.
Yeah, I don't remember what yours was last week.
Ever since I chirped the overs a couple weeks in, knock on wood, the overs have done pretty good for me on these weekend preview graphics. Goots is telling me it hit.
Rutgers, Oregon. It was mine.
Yeah, that was the freest fucking play of all time. So that was over of the year. So W Jinx, W Gambling Gods, appreciate you guys. And I probably just double jinxed it. And now this play's going to lose. But favorite over of the college football weekend, Jovan, NC State Pitt. This one just feels like a shootout. And again, these teams don't play a ton of defense. I think CJ Bailey goes off in this game. I think NC State covers. But I would not be surprised if this new QB for Pitt and this Pitt offense continues to dominate. Their running back is really good as well. And we saw what the Hokies rushing attack did against NC State a couple weeks ago on their home field. Would not be surprised if Pitt runs the rock a ton in this game and finds some success as well. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of the over in this game. I do think the Wolfpack and CJ Bailey carry the weight. I really do. But I would not be shocked to see both of these teams get involved in an offensive slugfest in this game. Very, very excited to bet the over between these two ACC squads. Pitt on the up and up right now. They're playing really well. NC State, they need a win. They need a good performance to save their season. I think you could get it in this one, and the total's moving up in this game as well. Some squares that indicate on Prize Picks that CJ Bailey's going to have a pretty good day, and Hollywood Smothers is coming off a pretty bad game himself. So expect him to dominate in this game. He's an NFL running back against that Pitt D line.
Nope, I'm in on that.
Okay.
I'll go to the other side of the Big Ten and take some overs with some points. Both offenses, they got absolutely boxed in their last week or last game. I can't say last week because Illinois has had a bye week since theirs, but I love taking offenses that I do think are worth a shit, and I'll give that to Illinois as much as I don't like that team. I think their offense is fine. I think Altmaier's played well, but I love taking teams like that coming off of playing one of the best defenses in the country, if not the best defense in the country, and Ohio State, where, to be honest, they didn't look all that bad in that game. They kind of shot themselves in the foot with red zone opportunities and penalties, but like they moved the ball probably a little even better than I bet on them, and I even was shocked at how well they're moving the ball for a little bit in that game. They scored 16 points, but they kind of got boxed. Same goes for Washington against that weird Michigan game where they got absolutely drilled. But I think both of these secondaries suck. Illinois secondary numbers kind of speak for themselves. Washington, kind of a little deceptive based on some of the teams that they've played, but they still have good corners, but nothing really to show for it. I think this is the perfect time for both of these pass offenses to get right, especially like Washington against an Illinois secondary that they're not going to have many chances the whole rest of the season to throw against a secondary in a game that you think is going to be somewhat competitive like this. And I think this is the perfect spot for that. The squares for Damon Williams in the pass game would probably tell you a little bit of the same thing. So I think this one will be back and forth, 30-30 type game.
Okay. Little shootout here. Illinois versus Washington. I'm in. Love the sell job. Let's move the groove. Let's talk about some favorites we like. Ugh, gross favorites. Let's talk about them.
Double Mac.
I'd love to talk about why NIU is laying 6.5 some places on a 5-game losing streak here against Ball State. And Ball State's coming off of a big-time win outright as a dog against Akron, where they put up a 42 spot. They've covered 4 of their last 5 games. They've won 3 of their last 5 games. And they've covered 3 of their last 5, all as dogs in these games. They've been dogs in 4 of their last 5 games. They've been a cover machine, covered 4 of their last 5, like I just said. And they have NIU's number. I don't know what it is, Jovan, but they've beaten them 4 of the last 5 times they played them. Why is Ball State getting 6.5 points in this spot? This looks like the weirdest, sharpest line of the weekend. Doesn't matter what conference. Doesn't matter what teams are involved. This looks like the sharpest line of the weekend. NIU, who's been reeling, who's been struggling immensely. But we know that team's got no quit. I treat them like a military academy with Coach Hammock at the helm. This guy gets the best out of his players damn near every season, and they are not going to keel over. They are not going to quit. And a lot of the guys on this team are looking at where they're going to play next year. Sure, maybe they've been distracted a little bit over the weeks. But they got a lot to go out there and prove still if they want to be playing on a good team next season and get some NIL money. So this NIU team cannot afford to quit, and there's a reason why they're covering this -6. They're about to win by double digits here at home, get back on track, and suffocate that Ball State offense. It does not impress me much, but they're coming off a big-time performance. The perfect time to fade. Fade Ball State, who's won 3 of their last 5. Back the Huskies of NIU to cover the 6 in just a crazy line after they've been atrocious and lost 6 games in a row. Oh, terrible.
Sure.
Terrible. Big-time MAC card here, Jovan.
Yeah,
Big-time
MAC card. In the MAC. We got, I would say, one of the more sneakily interesting games of the weekend. Obviously, there's better games with better teams, but a Wazoo team that has gone back-to-back weeks on the road against ranked teams or very close to ranked teams. I don't remember if UVA was ranked as of last week or not. I'm pretty sure they were, but back-to-back one-possession games as huge underdogs on the road against UVA and Ole Miss in games that, like, I frankly kind of saw like some sort of look-ahead spot happening for Ole Miss. Didn't think they would be in like conversations to win the game, but like I thought after that, surely they'd be out of juice going to Virginia the next week. And what do you know? They held their own, even though they lost that game in pretty brutal fashion. But now they go back home to Wazoo and Pullman, and they're underdogs to Toledo. Why is that? I think you can probably figure it out. I think this Toledo defense does a lot in keeping the ball in front of them, kind of limiting exactly what Wazoo wants to do, which even though they didn't do it much in the last couple of games, they want to push the ball downfield, especially with a trusted arm there controlling the offense in Zevi Eckhouse now. But I think Toledo is going to keep everything in front of them. I think they do a much better job at controlling the tempo of this game, and especially on the road, you're going to need that. And I think this Wazoo run defense is also not very good either. So like Toledo, whether it's Tucker Gleason or whether it's the rest of the offense, I think they're going to have a lot of TOP in this game, which I think is good for them.
Okay. I like it. It's also just as weird as seeing a small school like Toledo as a favorite against Wazoo. We just hung around against UVA.
Especially off of 2 very fucking good games for Wazoo, which after the way the season started, I mean, I know there weren't wins on the final score sheet, but I mean, 2 great performances for them.
Okay. Yep. Super weird. I'm in. Let's move and groove onto a much better segment here. How about some underdogs? How about some upset alerts? Give me Baylor. Jovan, this Baylor offense has not been the problem. They've not been an issue overall this season. But what if I told you that they were 1-5, I believe, against the spread? It might be worse. Let me check the Carfax here. What if I told you they were 1-6 against the spread this season? Jovan, would you believe me?
I would, because I've bet on them in some of those games.
Yeah, and they've not respected coins whatsoever. So they've respected coins in one game, and that's when I took a picture of their coach, posted on the feed, and called him Ron Rivera 2.0. That's the only game they've covered, I think, this entire season. Was in that
squad
game.
Ride that was.
Yes, it was a great squad ride. It was a great comeback. Since then, they have not covered 5 games in a row. They're coming off a loss to TCU, 36-42. Their offense is not the issue, man. They score 35 points a game. Their offense is honestly great. For the first time in a while, this Baylor defense has been a problem. Typically, Baylor's defense, they show up a little bit. They got some NFL guys on that side of the ball, and I thought Dave Aranda was more of a defensive-minded guy at least a couple of years ago, but this team has shifted completely into just an offensive juggernaut. Well, against Cincinnati, against your guy Sorsby, and what I think could be the game of the weekend against ranked Cincy, who's on fire right now, Jovan, shout out your boys. I think Baylor wins this game outright. I think they go in there, take Brennan Sorsby's lunch money, and hand Cincy an outright loss. This Baylor offense is going to be unstoppable. Nobody on this Cincinnati defense scares me whatsoever, respectfully. And I think Baylor has their fucking way with it, like Mike does with those subs in this game. And I think they went outright, straight up. I do. I think Baylor, I think Patterson, Sawyer Robertson, and I think their star running back and their really good tight end as well. I think we're going to talk about here in a little bit. I think they absolutely have their way with the Bearcats defense. And I think they cover for the first time in a month and a half. I think they win, which they need badly after that loss to TCU where they showed some heart. They put up some serious points. And I want to fade the Bearcats after they've been dominating of late. It's a crabby fade here, Jovan. It's not personal. It's just business. But this is a crabby fade, fading the red-hot Bearcats, who have covered 4 of their last 5 and won a bunch of games in a row. So who have they just played? I mean, they just played OK State and UCF. So they're in for a treat when Baylor comes into town. An elite offense, elite QB, elite running back, really, really good wide receiver / tight end. And they're going to have their hands full in this game. I think Baylor wins outright.
It's just so disappointing here, Krabs.
No, you disagree or?
Nah, not completely. I still think, in my head, I think that Cincy covers, but line started to tickle back. So I'll tip cap to that. But I want to take Houston after storming the field, electric upset against a backup quarterback last week for Arizona State. Now you're going to be in a pretty tough spot because not only are you coming off of that big emotional win, storm the field, got Kenny Dillingham doing the fucking worm in the locker room, but now you're going to be without Jordan Tyson. Now you're going to be even more hurt on defense, which I didn't think was possible for this team. And now you get a Houston team that's similar to, I don't know, we were just talking about Toledo. Who wants to shorten the game? Fucking Houston. And then I don't believe in this team, I guess, long term. And I think we'll start to see that once they go and play some of the rest of the teams on their schedule for the last couple of games. But defensively, it's hard to ignore what they've done so far this year. It's been great. And they play a pretty conservative defense that they're also super physical in the front 7, which is fine because you're going to need that against this team, especially when the downfield threat with no Jordan Tyson is not nearly as big a threat as it would have been 2 weeks ago or even last week when he was playing on one fucking leg. So I think this game is going to have to be one in the trenches, which, don't get me wrong, Arizona State still has a little bit of the advantage there, but with the way that Houston plays, I think this is a big style mismatch, and I think you're going to see some very weird offense, some very weird clock chewing in this game, exactly the way that, you know, our guy, American Conference made, wants to play. So give me the Cougs +7, which I still think is the weirdest line of the weekend, all injuries considered.
Yeah, I mean, they are 6-1, but I agree with you. It's some respect after Arizona State's coming off that big-time outright win last week, and they're ranked again. So, yeah, I mean, Houston's been doing their job, and nobody's talking about Houston. They've been on fire this season, man. Weigman looks decent. They just beat Arizona's dogs. They destroyed Oklahoma State. They beat the Beavs in a slugfest. They destroyed Colorado. I mean, they've had some impressive wins. Really, their only bad game was against Texas Tech. And that's a really good team. So nobody's talking about the Cougs. They've been playing well so far this season, and I love this play from you, Jovan. Houston +7, maybe even a chance to sprinkle on the ML. I think they could win outright.
Yeah, very likely.
Okay.
They cover.
All right. W's. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's get to our meat. 2 words, chat. Meat. Let's get to our meat. Gamecocks might win outright this weekend. And I hate South Carolina. I hate Shane Beamer. I hate the Gamecocks. I'm jealous. I'm a jealous man. I'm honest. I'm willing to admit I'm jealous of Shane Beamer and his Gamecocks team that has a lot more talent than the Hokies, a team that spanked our butts earlier this season with who should be our coach. Although I'll tell you right now, I don't want him as a coach. Not disciplined enough, but we don't have time to go into that. We have time to go into this Bama fade, though. And again, this is more of a Bama fade than it is a South Carolina backing, but it's a good spot both ways. Okay, you got to sell high on Bama here. Bama's looking like the best team in college football. I'll say it, man. They look like they're right up there with Ohio State as the best team, I think, in the SEC. And I think Bama right now is my natty champ right this second. Their QB's Ty Simpson, who's just been unbelievable so far this season. No shot this Bama team goes down there to Columbia, South Carolina, Jovan, after covering 5 straight games in a row, after winning a bunch of games in a row. No shot they go down there, or up there, I guess, for them. No shot. They head over there to that shit stadium with that shit team and lose to Lenore Sellers, a team that's lost 4 of their last 5, a team that just got spanked by Oklahoma, a team that can only put up 7 points against Oklahoma. They put up 17 points combined in their last 2 games in 2 losses to Oklahoma and LSU. No shot. Bama goes down there and doesn't take care of business, right, Jovan? Well, I kind of think that's a really good smash spot here for the Gamecocks at home in a sleepy spot for Bama that's been on fire so far this season. Some really tough games that the Gamecocks are coming off of, like I said, against Oklahoma and LSU, two of the best defenses in their conference, in my opinion. Really, really tough games are coming off of. And Bama, look, their defense is solid. Not as good as those two teams that the Gamecocks just played. So Lenore Sellers has a better matchup this weekend than he does in his last couple of games where he's looked like shit. And this is a good Bama fade spot after they just destroyed a fraudulent Tennessee team. They beat Mizzou in that really close game on the roads. This team is going to be the epitome of fat, happy, and complacent in this spot. I'm sure those kids, just like I was talking about, I'm sure those kids are going to be a hair, fat, happy, and complacent after a bunch of wins, and people are finally starting to think this Bama team is back. They're natty bound. Well, perfect time to fade and back South Carolina. Perfect time to buy low on the Gamecocks and sell high on the Tide. Again, my natty champ is Bama. They probably don't lose this game outright, but I don't think they cover, and I don't think they win by more than a touchdown. This is going to be a nasty, sketchy game for the Tide.
Nasty game. And I'm seeing some assurances from South Carolina fans in chat that they are not covering this game. So I mean, great news. Great news.
Wow. Augman, I have been to Willie B. I toured there. That was one of the schools I almost went to. They gave me a big old scholarship, and I said, no, thank you, Diego Pavia, Heisman pose. I'm going to a better school in Virginia Tech. How about that? And we backed them this weekend. Give me the Gamecocks. Between Clemson, VT, and South Carolina. Said, no, thank you, Gamecocks. I'm a Hokie.
Hokie.
All right. Iowa State. I knew this was coming. Let's hear it.
Yeah, this is one of the more obvious looking ones of the week, but when it lines up, I have to stick with it. And I'm glad too, because the one that looked like this last week was the Georgia Tech game. And we saw how that ended. You got one that was super fake sharp out of the way off the board. This one, I think, makes all the sense in the world for a bunch of different reasons. To be honest with you, I don't give a shit about the line. I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's anything. BYU doesn't get very much line respect. And Iowa State, whether they're on the right side or the wrong side, or I guess you could just say the favorite of the dog, there's a lot of sharp-looking lines in their games pretty much every single week. So I could give two shits about the line. It's more about the spot and about the coaching. You have BYU's coming off of the Holy War win, super emotional spot. Frankly, they've been one of the luckier teams in college football, not only the last week, but the last couple of weeks. So we've seen very close games go their way. Now, not only do they get to go on the road, not only do they get to go play a day game on the road, which if you paid attention to BYU football over the course of the years, the day game stuff is a real thing. There's a reason why they don't play those at home. They also get to face Matt Campbell off of a bye week, which Matt Campbell off of a bye week as a dog, or as a dog, I guess you could say, because he's not typically the dog, but it would be an upset even though they're favored. You don't really get the spot too often. So like now that not only is he coming off of a bye week, he's coming off of a bye week with 2 straight losses into it where they've been super injured. They're still missing a chunk of their secondary, which that's kind of good over the bye week because not only do they get a little healthier, not necessarily in that form, the defense is getting healthier, but their whole defense is built off of physicality and keeping everything in front of them. They've struggled with that the last 2 weeks because they haven't really had time to adjust with being down 2 of the best defensive backs in the Big 12. What do you do over the bye week? Just that, along with getting healthier. I think they're going to come in with a plan defensively to stop this team that is built on that. We talked about this with Bear Bachmeier, I think last week when we were talking about this under. They're super reliant on explosive pass plays, and Iowa State's been giving them up the last couple of weeks. They've been down corners. Matt Campbell is built on limiting those. So what do you think he's going to do over the bye week? He's going to scheme something up, even though they're shorthanded in the secondary, to keeping everything in front of them. And Bear Bachmeier is frankly not very good. They're going to have to need, if they want to win this game, it's going to be a lot of LJ Martin, which, trust me, the offensive line edge is still there for BYU, and that's how they're going to have to win this game. But to win this game, not only are you going to have to lean on him a bit, but you're going to come to the end of the game and you're going to need Bear Bachmeier to make a play, which I do not think he's going to do, especially on the road, tough environment, and you're going to get Matt Campbell's best stuff. He's one of the better coaches.
And Jovan GG's. Tens? Oh, I hear you. I hear you. There he is.
Show me that
Boom.
Connection's lost.
Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
Matt Campbell, great coach. I heard that part.
Great coach. We'll see that
and
this
I agree.
week in the summer.
Wouldn't mind if the Hokies stole him. It's a big ask, though. I'd say that's my second favorite coach option down there in Blacksburg behind James Franklin.
Yeah.
But
I'm shocked he's not getting talked about more as an option for some of these coaches. Maybe they're just tired of it because I feel like we've been through the same cycle for a couple years now, and he hasn't gone anywhere, but I don't know why.
I don't know either, but I'd love him down in Blacksburg. Great coach. Besides the weird gambling stuff they had going on a couple years ago that I think was, going on behind, without his knowing, right? I'm pretty sure or else he wouldn't be coaching there. That was sketchy, but I think he's a great coach. So, yeah, and he's going to be a great coach this weekend, and Iowa State's going to bounce back after 2 straight L's. And look, man, this is a mandatory fade spot of BYU here and the Cougs coming off that life-changing win. Life-changing against Utah. Everybody's talking about BYU. They're talking about the greatest game atmosphere ever. These fans show up 2 hours before the game because they don't drink. They got nothing to tailgate for. They're there when the gates are about to open, shaking those puppies, and they're shaking the beds while they're soaking. It's going to be Iowa State who's shaking the damn beds this weekend. Jovan getting a big-time win. Love this play from you. Go Cyclones.
Big-time
Go Cyclones. Yep. If you guys want to tail the Sharp Report 4-man, I feel bad I did not drop that link earlier. I'm going to drop that link right now. Give me a second as we pivot to talking about our college football squares that we love this weekend. Okay, here's the link. If you guys want to tail, I'm sure Goots will be happy to put this in the YouTube chat as well.
This was minus $1 million to be on the Krabs PP squares this week.
Yeah. It was. Somebody get Yale on the line. Somebody get Joshua on the line. I'm back in Bo. It's Bo time, baby. Should be a good look. It's Bo time. The guy's thrown 4 picks in his last 2 games. He's thrown 7 picks in his last 5 games. He's been a pick machine. Jovan. Enough is enough. Again, we talked about this last week a little bit. He still threw a pick. I think he goes in there to Vandy, and I think he gets an outright win. I think he plays one of his better games of the season in a game that's probably going to go over. Diego Pavia is involved. He's not giving up without a fight. So I like the over in the game, but I like Bo to go out there and have a pretty good performance against Vandy. I'm going to sell high on Vandy a little bit coming off their program-changing win. I think it's fair to say that's a program-changing win where the tides have officially shifted, where they were a favorite against LSU and they actually came through respective coins and won that game outright. You got their QB hitting the fucking Heisman pose. I think it's going to be Bo who outduels me guy, McGee, under center there for Vandy and Diego Pavia. And he goes out there and for the first time in 5+ weeks, he does not throw a pick. He keeps the ball secure. And again, there's no need to overthink it, Jovan, in this game. How did Bama beat this team? Bama beat this team. They beat this team by running the rock, man. They beat this team by running the damn rock, giving the ball to Jam Miller and the backup running back, and they both had a pretty good day on the ground. I think you give the ball to Ahmad Hardy here 35 times. Run the damn ball against Vandy. You go into their house, you run the damn ball, you win this game outright. Bo, not going to be in an opportunity, not going to be in a game script to have to throw the rock down the field 30 yards when they're winning this whole game. So going to give me Bo less than half a pick. He cleans it up, and for the first time in a couple weeks, he stays out of the interception column.
Okay.
Right? Bryce Underwood. I'm taking his less than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Like the under from you here. And I like Michigan State. Shocker. God, this rivalry actually used to hit. And I think it will hit this weekend. I do. I think it's going to be a much better game than people expect. Aiden Childs, and the Spartans on a 4-game losing streak. They got nothing to play for, right? Wrong. This is the only game they have left on their schedule that matters, that means something. So you're going to get their best. You're going to get the Spartans' best, and you're going to get maximum effort from the defense, maximum effort from Aiden Childs. But again, we're not here talking about him. We're here talking about the Spartans' defense and a bunch of kids who are probably looking at what they're going to play at next year, and they need to get something on tape here in a nationally televised night game. So you're going to get the best effort-wise out of the Spartans here at home, and I have to fade Michigan here. I have to fade Bryce Underwood here after that legacy performance against Washington, where they carved up that defense, played really well. They beat them 24-7. This is a mandatory fade spot on Bryce Underwood and a mandatory fade spot on Michigan. This is how we're making coins this weekend. Back in the Spartans. It's nasty, I know. And back in their defense to keep Bryce out of the end zone twice.
Love that. Huge for underbetters.
Dubs. Huge. Love that square. Yeah, I was bricked up when I saw your under in that game. Bricked. All right. Swinging around. Let's go to Jovan squares. Might have lost him again. Jovan, are you there? Okay. Oh. Boots, you there? All right.
He's lagging a little bit.
I know. I like Mike Trigg's square here. That's for sure. And yes, Jovan in the YouTube chat. Steph had a good night last night. When he has 0 threes tonight, though, we'll be back on pace. Krabs, you going to be on Mississippi State? I hope. Yeah, I will be. Has to be done. Yeah, Jovan is getting abducted by aliens here on a Friday. Hate to see it. That's what he gets for putting a UVA square on the college football weekend preview. All set.
That's what he gets.
Oh,
hold on.
Goodness gracious. Jovan?
One sec. I'll get him back in.
Okay. I can hear him, folks. He's spawning back in. Yes, Big Cheesy. A grilled cheese and ketchup is goated. If you haven't had it, try it. That's one of the easiest, simplest meals of all time. Not healthy. Nope, but it tastes good. Yes, dude, try it. It's good. I'm just talking about a little bit of ketchup on the side to dip that puppy in. A little bit.
Yeah, you need to be burned for that.
Okay.
You need to be burned for that.
You're back. You're in 180p. You look like you're being filmed on a potato, but I'm sure that'll get better.
Ever since the AWS thing, my Wi-Fi here is moo shit. I'm surprised that's the first time I've cut out a stream, but
yeah, just blame Bezos. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing else to do. But while I'm in 180p, I'll just tell you, Mike Trigg will have 100 receiving yards this weekend against the Cincy defense, who really hasn't seen a tight end worth a shit, minus, like, you can argue Benjamin Brahmer for Iowa State, and like Lyndon Meyer is not a real wide receiving tight end, but he tore them to shreds for his standard in that game a little bit. So they really haven't seen too many like real receiving tight ends all year. I think this game is going to have 1 million points. Shocker. I think we all do. The total's 67.5, but middle of the field is going to be wide the fuck open. And I think they're going to solid stop the run. And Trigg, he had 3 for, I think, 50 something in the TCU game last week, which was deceptive because it was pouring. He had a bunch of drops. Sawyer had really bad throws to him. They targeted him a bunch, and then he ended up getting – he really had nothing all game. I think he had 2 of those catches for like 40 of those yards in the last like 2 minutes of the game. So he really didn't do anything all game. This week they get after him. So I'm taking that. He'll be in the demon entry, first square in there. Then I usually wouldn't do this, but Jamal Edrin for UVA, he's coming off of like one of his best games of the season, or I think the best game of the season. But I'm starting to notice this, Krabs. You know what the Belichick defense has done against like teams in the NFL a bunch? Take away your best option and then just let everybody else feast like he did at the Patriots. He started doing that in college. I thought it was just an Eric McAllister thing game 1 where they doubled the shit out of him, and then Jordan Dwyer feasted for 1 billion yards and they just let it happen. But happened last week with Tron Grizzell, and then Jacob DeJesus had double-digit catches for 100 yards, and then it's happened against Clemson. They locked up Antonio Williams, and then TJ Moore had 1 billion yards. I think this is just what he's going with right now. So I think Trell Harris on the outside is going to be boxed up, and they're going to give him a shit ton of attention because he's the most explosive wide receiver in that room. And I think the Edgerton train continues. So he probably will also be in the Demon Slope.
That one's a shit square, but the Trig one's looking good. Could certainly get on board with that.
Unbelievable.
Brother, you think I'm going to be up here glazing UVA? You fucking break. I was just sitting there hate watching them, hoping they would lose to Wazoo last week for no reason. It's good in the game. Just hate watching.
Fair.
All right. Honorable mentions for this weekend of college football. W Goots. We're not missing the honorable mentions this week. Let me get Old Miss plus 5.5. I like the under in Minnesota and Iowa, the under 39.5. Give me Wake Forest plus 3 at home. They might be good. Arkansas on the money line. I think they're up to minus 2.5 now. Give me the ML. Fresno State plus 3. Give me Mississippi State plus 7. How about Michigan State plus 14.5? But I think they're down to plus 14 against Michigan. Texas A&M and LSU. Love that under. But I think I already put that one on the meat there. So I'll replace the honorable mention with LSU plus 2.5. Boston College plus 25.5. They've been terrible. Has to be bet. Kentucky plus 8.5. And Utah minus 13.5 for the backup QB. Jovan, any honorable mentions you like?
Yeah, I'm with you on Wake. I also what would have also been up here in a rare SGP is Swordsby Fantasy Score. It's going on every slip. I don't think that's up yet. But he'll be up here. And then there's an interesting FCS play, Krabs. You got a team who has shut out 2 teams in a row. And they get to play a team that's coming off of a shutout this week.
And who would that be?
That would be Houston Baptist plus 27.5 against Southeastern Louisiana this weekend. A must play.
Okay. I'm trying to find it.
A must play.
Trying to find it here. God, there are some juicy games, some good matchups. This is what I'm telling you guys. Slate of the year. It includes FCS as well. This is the best FCS slate of the year. For sure.
Incredible
For sure.
FCS slate.
Great slate. A lot of games. Okay. And I can't find this one.
Seeing Edrin fat bump from chat. You know why that is?
A lot of bumps today. A lot of bumps. All right. W College Football Weekend Preview, folks. And Javon's gone again. Nice. Jovan in the YouTube chat, at least we got you here. He says, you think Flag going over points today, Krabs? Probably. I will not be fading Cooper Flag against the Wizards' atrocious defense. He probably grubs. W Josh JJ, 5-stream streak. Appreciate you, Beast. W chat as well, being active, up and moving. Nasty Masty, your name fits here, man. Grilled cheese and grape jelly. What are we talking about, dudes? What are we talking about? That makes grilled cheese and ketchup sound like a filet mignon from Ruth's Chris. Grilled cheese and grape jelly. What are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? All right. Goots, I know we're getting we're spawning Javon back in here. Bezos beat a me guy. Yep. Bezos beat a me guy. We'll get him in here and then we'll switch. We'll pivot to the NFL weekend preview here in a second, guys. Get ready. Next time he cuts out, Goots, might need you to just come up here on cam and go over your POD. Okay? People need it. It's not me asking, it's the chat asking. Chat asking. W Goots, appreciate you, Beast. And when you can, do me a favor. I want to see Tyreek Hill run that ship. Swiss cheese. I disagree, man. This is the best NFL slate of the weekend. Best NFL slate of the weekend. Let's talk about some unders that we like this weekend. Interesting color schemes up there. Pretty identical there. Looks like they're flip-flopped, but let's hope they both hit. Let me start with the Browns and the Patriots under 40.5. You know I'm taking that Drake May. Less than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Tough matchup. Denzel Ward should go out there and do something and limit the passing success for Drake May, who's just been unbelievable so far this season. And he's starting to get a ton of glaze. Has to be done. The under in this game down from 42.5 to 40.5. After the Browns game just went over with the squarest under of all time last week in that rain game that wasn't as bad as people indicated. That game went over. And after the Patriots and the way their offense has been performing the last couple of weeks, they put up a 31 piece in their last game against Tennessee in Mike Vrabel's Super Bowl. Could be a decent time to fade that team, fade that offense after Vrabel got the biggest win of his season against his former squad, Jovan. So perfect sell high spot for the Patriots offense here, in my opinion. Not worried about the Browns offense scoring a ton. They have a crazy, crazy square for the stud Browns running back up there on Prize Picks for him to score a touchdown, which thought about putting that less than up here on the Prize Pick Squares segment, but that's an honorable mention square for me. Crazy they have that square up after he scored a bunch of touchdowns recently, and he's been an absolute beast recently. So I'll take the under in the game. Cleveland's not scoring much, and for the first time in a while, the Patriots offense looks bad against a hungrier defense in Cleveland. Give me the under. Give me the under.
I'm in on that. I'll take you to Denver. Don't want to get myself caught in taking too many Cowboys unders, especially after they've cashed a bunch in a row. But frankly, as much as I'm high on the Cowboys offense, and I think a lot of us are at this point, who have they played recently? Especially without, obviously things have changed in the receiving room and it's a little fixed now, but who have they played in this last stretch of a handful of games? They've put up a lot of points, but to be honest with you, are we impressed with the Commies defense, Panthers defense, Jets defense? I'll give them credit for the Packers defense, but what else have they really done outside of that one game? And I want to see it, especially on the road in Denver. We've seen Dak struggle on the road plenty throughout his career, and this feels like another spot where he does, and we're getting an inflated total because of what the Broncos have done, both on offense and, like, surprisingly defense. The last handful of games, we thought that was going to be a get-right spot for, like, the Denver defense, and they're going to have this dominating performance against the Giants, and that game had 60-something points, and they really dominated the Jets as they should have, but it looked pretty iffy, I guess, otherwise against these higher flying offenses. I think this is where we see them lock in and have a really good performance. The spread would probably lend itself to that too, but I'm paying to find out, see if the Cowboys can keep it up.
Love this under from you. Let's hope that Dak doesn't go out there and put up a 40-piece, but against that Broncos defense, it's going to be pretty tough on the road for the Cowboys after they just scored 1 million points against my commies. Okay. Make them play outside in the chilly colds. I'm in. And Bo Nix sucks, so he's not scoring many points in this game either. All right. God, I'm hearing Kevin Garnett's involved in the poker games. That sucks. I'm a big-time Kevin Garnett guy. Let's hope he was a victim. Maybe he was just there to play. Maybe he got his money taken. Honestly, maybe he got rinsed, and maybe he was not in on the fixes. Please don't be KG, man. I'm a big KG guy. Slapping the floor. Some great quotes. Big effort type of guy. I mean, y'all didn't watch Uncut Gems. Good point. Dude's been around gambling, clearly. Shit movie, though. I'll say it.
What do you call that? Shit movie.
Bro, that was supposed to be the best movie ever. Maybe because of my expectations were too high, but shit movie. I'll say it.
It's a good movie. It's not a great movie.
Did not
good
deliver.
Movie, though.
It's too slow, man. Too slow and boring. All right.
It does get a little overglazed. I'll give you
too
that.
long. They could have cut an hour out of that thing. It was too long. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some overs. Jovan, I'm backing an over in your Bucs game this weekend. Hope you like it. Baker Mayfield's going to have to do this one himself again, probably. No Mike Evans. But, hey, he's done it before. I'll probably do it again. His fantasy score is super high in this game as well, so I think he plays pretty well. Love seeing the total up in this game as well, up from 45.5 to 46.5. I think the Saints might win outright, to be honest with you, and finally blow off some steam here. A team that's been struggling a lot of late. A Saints team, though, that I feel like has played the Bucs, pretty good in my lifetime. Maybe not as much of late when the Bucs have been much better, but the Saints were always giving the Bucs trouble. Maybe it was more when Marshawn Lattimore and your guy Mike Evans were going at it for a couple of years, but recently it has been more, tailored to the Bucs. And again, the Bucs offense can score against anybody. And they're finally coming off their first dud of the season against the Lions. So people are finally starting to discredit the Bucs and saying the injuries are too much to overcome. This is the perfect time to back Baker Mayfield after a 9 spot they put up. Embarrassing last week against Detroit. I know Baker's about to bounce back. Dude is so fucking gritty. He's so good. It's second favorite quarterback in the NFL. And then I think Spencer Rattler bounces back. Kamara's rushing yards and fantasy score is super high. I think he gets in the end zone. I think Spencer Rattler's fantasy score was a little bit high as well. And again, that Bucs defense, they're banged up. They showed that they're beatable the last couple weeks, giving up 35 to Seattle, giving up 24 to Detroit in that blowout. Crazy to say, but perfect time to buy low on points. And the Saints have looked pretty abysmal offensively the last couple weeks. I think Kellen Moore dials it up, and you see a shootout, and that's why this total's moving up. Give me points in Tampa and New Orleans.
Yeah, that game has my brain in a blender.
Okay.
Really scared of that game.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think you guys might lose outright, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be nuking the Saints myself if it wasn't for them coming off of that shit game and Baker talking like he wants to kill the Saints all week. It's giving me some hope. But
what's his bit? What's his made up bit that he's giving him motivation this week? Does he just make sure?
Or there's no made up bit. They've had a lot of dirty hits, injure a lot of the Bucs, himself included, over the last couple matchups, including. I mean, he's gotten hit a couple times. Godwin got pretty seriously injured one of the times. There's no need to make up the beef from the Bucs.
Okay.
But
that'll
be.
I think it was after the Jets game that he was like,
what?
yeah. I think it was after the Jets game. Baker was like, yeah, I hate the Jets, man. One of their coaches gave up on him or something when they were down in Carolina.
That was a valid one. He was the one that chased him out of Carolina and said he was Moose.
He's always got some.
He's got a lot of stuff around his journey.
He's got a lot of enemies. He's got a got a bad.
The guy from the Jets is like his Sean Payton to Russ.
Yeah, he's got a lot of enemies. He's got a lot of guys on a list that he likes to show up a little bit. and he deserves it. And he makes a point. And those games give a little bit of extra motivation. Okay. Yep. DC was interim and cut him in Carolina. Okay. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Jovan, tell me why we're getting points. Speaking of the Jets.
Yeah, don't really have to sell you too much on the Bengals side of things, especially after what we saw on Thursday night in that incredible game. They put up points against the Steelers. So, I still think the same thing's going to happen. I think Flacco is the perfect guy for that offense, not just because he is an actual capable quarterback, but because he knows sling it to Jamar. Fuck it, he's down there somewhere. And not only is that work, obviously, for the flow of the offense, is Jamar going to have, what did he have, 17 catches again? Probably not, but it works the whole thread of the offense. It opens up room for T. Higgins. It opened up room for the run game against or with an offensive line that's been god awful. Chase Brown's going to score and have a good performance. He was really good last week, and I think the same's going to hold up. So, I think the Bengals versus the Jets, offense versus defense, is going to look exactly like you want. But regardless of who's at quarterback, you touched on this, I think, when we were talking about it, whether it's Justin Fields, after getting publicly called out by, it seems like, everybody in the organization that he's a shit quarterback, or it's Tyrod Taylor, who, to be honest with you, I was pretty impressed by how he looked when he operated the offense against the Bucs. Whether it's one of the two, the Jets offense is going to look good this week. Are they going to go down without a fight? Absolutely not. And I don't think it's going to be like the Broncos game where I kind of leaned into the more defensive slugfest, make the game slow type game. Bo Nix is bad. I think this is going to have to be open it up. Justin Fields, if you're on the field, fucking show them that you don't suck. Tyrod Taylor, if you're on the field, show them what they've been missing. I think there's going to be offense from the Jets for the first time all season, and I don't really know if that'll lead to a win or cover because the Bengals are going to do what the Bengals do or have done the last week on the field, but it's the reason why total's going up.
Okay. Yeah. Points. Do you think Tyrod's a decent fantasy pickup and start this week?
If he starts, yeah.
What I'm hearing, my sources, I think he's going to play. He's been practicing this week, but I'm with you. He's got a questionable designation. So, all right. Yeah. Does Brees ever score? Maybe he scores this week. That would certainly help us over. Krabs, do I ride Pickens versus the Broncos? That's a tough one, Sonny Dutchie, because, again, you're going to see them having all eyes on CD, obviously, but, they cannot be sleeping on Pickens. Depends on who else you have, man. I probably wouldn't be playing him on Prize Picks, but if you have him in fantasy, he might be at the point where you just have to play him every fucking week. He's that good, so that's tough. Sure, Turner-Mac, I'd rather play Ferg. I'd rather play Fergie. Yeah, Jovan, any thoughts on Pickens helping out Sonny Dutchie there?
I'm on the under in that game.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to have PS2 on CD. It's like there would be targets open. I'm not running to back the Cowboys offense in that game. Really anything for the first time in a while. So it depends on your options.
Okay. Depends on your options. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some favorites. Yuck. Gross. Yep. We're doing it. Goods, get up here, man. Get your ass up here, Goods. I need your help on this sell job. I need to know why taking the ping pong tables and the PS5s out of the locker room matters this weekend. That's all I've heard.
Did you even watch the interview?
That's all up. No, Goods, I did not watch the local Ravens.
No. It's a Harbaugh interview. He said he didn't even know about it. It was a player thing. The players did it.
I love that.
Yeah, and he joked about not knowing where the pinball machine was that he bought the rookies or whatever like 2 years ago. So
yeah, he's got actual important.
It's really just not that big of a deal.
Well, it could be. Yeah. I actually think that's a bigger deal if the players said enough is enough. Cut the shit.
Yeah, I feel like you'd like that.
Distractions out of here. I do like that.
There you go.
What I don't like, what I was making a joke about, is that when you turn on the TVs this week, that's all people were talking about. They're not talking about Lamar coming back. They're not talking about the Ravens players. They're not talking about X's and O's. They're just talking about how ping pong tables being taken out equals wins, which I thought was a really lazy take from TV guys. But if the players are the ones doing it and stepping up, and if Harbaugh is saying, I don't even fucking know where the ping pong tables or the goddamn games are, no shit, you're worried about actual important stuff on the fields. I certainly like that, Goodsy.
Yes.
I certainly like that, Goodsy. What I like a little bit more are the Ravens laying 6.5 to the hottest team in the NFL. Must bet, again, like I talked about today with the Hokies, like I talked about today with the Gobblers, okay, Dick Gobbler the fourth, like I talked about today with him. You take the team out of this. If it was a different team that's 1-5, a different team that was hyped up preseason and has lost 4 games in a row, facing off against the red hot Bears who've won 4 games in a row, I would be on this team. It has nothing to do with the Ravens. It has everything to do with the spot in the line. Okay, you bet lines, not teams. That's how you make coins in this league. So Ravens laying 6.5. They're almost putting them at a number that nobody wants to bet. Right? Who the hell wants to lay it with the Ravens to win by a touchdown, to bring your coins back? Nobody on earth wants to take that, man, against the red hot Bears, who've won 4 straight games in a row. And when people are starting to finally question Ben Johnson after a couple slow starts this season, he's proven while they brought him over there to run the show in Chicago. Caleb not having to do too much of late. It's been a lot of handing the ball off and finding a lot of success on the ground, but good luck doing that against this Ravens defense that just held the Rams to 17 points, the best offense in the NFL, besides probably the Cowboys, to 17 points, and had a bye week, I believe, in between here to prepare extra for Caleb, for the Bears. This game simply means more for the Ravens. Give me the blue-collar, hardworking, gritty Ravens who need a win like they need fucking oxygen against the fingernail Peyton Caleb Williams, who's feeling pretty good right now after 4 straight wins, feeling pretty good after a win against my commies. Number 1 versus number 2 picks there. That beef's going to be going on for a decade plus. Give me Goots' Ravens, -6 against Joshy's Bears. I think you see them put in their place here after 4 straight W's. Perfect time to sell high on Chicago.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Get one, Goots.
I mean, my only concern is the defense. I mean, Roquan looked slow before he even was hurt. So, I mean, and he's the leader of that defense. And Ben Johnson's been having his way lately. So, we'll see. I'm not worried about Lamar. I'm not worried about the offense. It's a must-need win. So,
yep, a lot of hate on this play in the chat, Goots. That's a great sign.
Great sign
for it to hit. Great sign for it to hit.
Tinlin 210, his wife's on the Ravens, so that's all I need to tell you. We're good there.
That's huge.
Smells like a win to me.
Literally
Smells like a win to me. W Tinlin 210, W Goots, W Ravens. Jovan, tell me why the Texans are winning this game.
Well, I'll tell you what, Krabs. They're up to -2 now with no wide receivers to throw to against the 49ers. That just made the Falcons look like a middle school team. Everybody except Bijan on Sunday Night Football for the whole world to see. And frankly, like on Monday night, if you actually watch the game, I would say that the Texans, they've had a lot of painful performances over the entirety of the season so far. I don't think they looked all that bad, even in a loss against the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks defense was fucking fantastic. I think they moved the ball pretty well on that defense for what you could put together on them. They just had penalties to shoot themselves in the foot, and then obviously had some weird plays on the other side of the ball as well. JSN was torching them. You give them a pass for that, but they didn't look really all that bad. And I think that's something I kind of want to buy into for the rest of the season here. I think they're going to start to look better, and I think the line is pretty egregious, even coming at home. The 49ers defense is obviously banged up, and so is a majority of the team. And I think now that they're getting a banged up defense that we've seen teams score points on, teams that don't have Michael Penix at the helm, I think you're going to see probably their first good offensive game. And I think the fact that they're down wide receivers is not good for CJ Stroud, but I think in essence it kind of simplifies what the game plan can be, which I think is probably the best thing for them right now. And I think this is the perfect game to get it back together and roll into the rest of the season.
Could not agree more. The weirdest line of the weekend. The Texans as favorites and catching steam.
Yeah.
I'm in. And I kind of low-key hope that the line moving equals maybe we see Nico out of the grave playing in this game, but either way, it's a win-win.
Already confirmed out, I'm pretty sure.
That's insane.
Him and Kirk, unless I'm tripping.
That's insane. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some dogs. JETS, Jets. I got videos on my feed of, kids walking out of the stadium crying, saying, why me? Why am I a fan of this team? This team will never be good. We got the owner of the team ripping the starting QB a new one, saying he's the reason why they're losing, not the coach, when I think it's the opposite. This team sucks. They're in turmoil. They're 0-7, the worst team in the NFL. And the Bengals are coming off of their first win in a while. Joe Flacco, everybody's acting like he's taking this team to the playoffs now. Give me a fucking break. And the Jets are catching steam at the same time of all this going on, down from 7.5 to 6.5. Give me the Tyrod show. It's a hokey type of weekend. He'll cover the 6.5. Their offense will look much better. Justin Fields sucks. The Jets are going to hand the ball off 25 times to Breece Hall. He's going to score his first touchdown of the season. Tyrod's going to throw 2 touchdown passes in this game, and they're going to beat the Bengals outright on the road when the people least expect it, and they're finally starting to think for the first time this season since before Joe Burrow got hurt that the Bengals are good after one good game. Fade the Bengals, fade Flacco. Give me the Jets. Sauce Gardner is going to go out there and do job, or at least get, PIs instead of allowing touchdowns. And we'll talk about that in a moment.
So I'm pretty sure he's not playing.
Really?
Yeah.
And the Jets are still catching steam.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure him and Garrett Wilson are both no-goes.
Yeah, I knew Garrett Wilson's out. That's crazy, though.
That's crazy. Even more reason to lean into it.
Super weird. He also sucks. All right. Let's talk about why Pitt +3 is the play in the Rogers Bowl. I'm happy you have a play in this one because this game makes my brain hurt.
Couldn't help it. You know what else are you going to do other than this game? Then we talked about how petty I thought Rogers was going to be slinging the rock against Joe Flacco in that back and forth game. And what do you know? He slung the rock, and that was a fantastic game. They ended up falling short on just when the Steelers fans are all starting to freak out, say this is a classic Tomlin loss, classic Tomlin team. This is the same old shit all year. You get the Rodgers revenge game, which would be a lot cooler if it was in Green Bay, but I'm going to bet on me guy Rodgers in this game to be a fucking me guy against a damn good team, damn good defense, even though they're dealing with some injuries themselves. I think this is the perfect spot for them to buy back into the Steelers just when you learn that every fan kind of just leaves after this and they assume the team's going to be the same as it always is. But I think this is the perfect spot to sling because you're going to need a sling against this defense. I don't think they're going to have much success on this front, which not many teams really have for the last handful of weeks, really all seasons. Like, you're going to need Rodgers to absolutely drop sack. He's the biggest me guy in the league. I'm betting on him to absolutely drop sack against his former team. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I think he can do it with success. We're back in.
Could not agree more. We were in the minority before the season saying, you know what, this just might work. Aaron Rodgers, a petty motherfucker. He'll take care of the offense, and we'll see Tomlin take care of the defense. Bye-bye, Jovan. Everybody wave bye-bye, Jovan. See you, Jovan. Oh, he's back. That was a quickie. Sure. Oh, there he is. Come on.
Okay.
God, Jeff Bezos, also a me guy. Right up there with Aaron Rodgers, man. Right up there with Aaron Rodgers. All right. Welcome back, Jovan. Yep, drop this in the chat. Love to see it. Look, this is a revenge season like no other. This is, after the season's done, it's going to go down in history as one of the best final seasons in NFL history in our lifetime. Aaron Rodgers is doing it right now in front of our eyes, and people aren't talking about it enough. How petty this dude is and how he's getting this stagnant, dead Steelers offense for the last 5 years looking like one of the better offenses in the NFL. People aren't talking about it enough. +3 at home in the Aaron Rodgers petty off against his former team. Oh, against a petty motherfucker and Matt LaFleur. This one's going to be cinema. I'm so happy they put this one on Sunday Night Football, man. So happy. Now, is this the square play in this game after how the Packers have looked sketchy recently? And, Rodgers has looked really good overall. And, looks like he has his offense back on track.
It's just the Rodgers revenge game. I don't think you need any more than that to tell you it's probably the square side in the game.
It certainly at least cancels out the fact that it might be the square play with the home dog. And again, you give Mike Tomlin 3 points, 3.5 points here at home. He's going to make good things happen. And you're going to win that bet 6-7 times out of 10. So W, Steelers +3. I'm happy you put this in here because I keep going back and forth. What's the square play? What's the sharp play? What's the bet in this game? I think I'm with you, man. Just back Rodgers in his legacy season and make corn. Okay? And it's a good thing they lost that game to the Bengals last week, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I would have had the strength to push the button if they didn't.
Okay. 6-7. W chat. Drop them. People forget they made a South Park episode about 6-7. Whole episode's about it. That's where we're at right now in the Big 2-5. Unbelievable. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Chat. Let's talk about some meat. Let's talk about some meat. Well, you had them in as your favorite. I got them in here as my meat. Texans on the money line. Has to be done. Consensus quake here. Weirdest line of the weekend. The 2-4 Texans, who just played like dog shit against Seattle. They couldn't score against Seattle. They got stuffed on the goal line multiple times. You got multiple mistakes. You got their wide receiver 1 out. And Jovan, you got the Texans catching steam against the 49ers, who are coming off a big-time win. They've won 2 of their last 3. They're 5-2 so far this season. McCaffrey looks like the best running back in the NFL, besides Jonathan Taylor. And they're coming off that big-time 20-10 win against Atlanta. Weirdest line of the weekend. They're still catching steam. What is going on? Well, the books seem to know the Texans are getting a must-win game at home this weekend. Buy low on Houston and sell high on San Fran, a team I hate fading. I consider this my mistress team. I would. The 49ers. Love betting on them. Love rooting for them. But not this weekend. Money's green, and we got to make it out here. Let's fade San Fran after that big win and back Houston and CJ Stroud with no wide receiver one at home.
Yep. I'm in on that, obviously.
Okay.
And I'm standing on business with, I to be honest with you, my brain was in a blender whether I wanted to go over or just straight on the fins in this game. And I'll probably play both. I still haven't decided, but at least I'm playing this over. I think this is going to be Tua's best game of the year. I think it's this Falcons team that, sure, they have a good front seven, but I think there's question marks in the secondary. This is a Falcons offense, I guess, on the other side, you could say that looked like dog shit against the Niners. A lot of people thought they're going to be able to move the ball against the Niners. Michael Penix is banged up. It's really nothing but Bijan. Obviously, like going into this, the matchup is very clear. Run the ball against a shit Dolphins run defense and you're going to have success. Would that be great for the clock? No, but I think there's going to be a lot of explosive plays in this game from their side that are going to force Tua and Miami to sling it fucking early. And what better of a chance, or what better of a situation for this to be in, or for the Dolphins to be in than Tua after, I mean, you could argue a couple of games are pretty bad, but 31-6 at Cleveland is bad. That's a game that they never really had a shot at winning. People try to argue it was too public, too sharp, I guess, to be on the Browns in that game. They got fucking destroyed. And it was that easy. Tua going into Cleveland was never winning that fucking game. You can't even see over the receivers. That's a hard-nosed defense they never had a pulse against. Falcons defense is not terrible. We've seen them have some pretty good games, but I do not think they're a defense that handles speed very well, as we can see with some of their worst performances of the year have been against teams that are built like that. And obviously the Dolphins are only built on that. They're a good team that can hold up, except the run game too. The run defense has not been good, which means Tua can have a good game while also leaning on Devon Achane, which is why I think this game is going to get very, very weird. And I think it's going to come with points.
I'm in. The over. Would you start Tua in fantasy this week? He's projected 12 points.
Yes, because you know what else he's going to do, Krabs? He's going to run a touchdown in.
Wow. Okay.
This week is when this square, that season-long square, is going to turn green.
Yep. Wow. All right. You'd start him over Tyrod Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. I trust you. Oh, boy. You think Waddle goes off, or you think it's going to be the role players, or maybe Malik Washington?
I think it's kind of committee in this game, to be honest with you. Like I feel like this is such the perfect game for there to be a bomb or two to maybe not even Washington, maybe like deeper on the NPC list for a lot of the wide receiver 2, 3, and 4s in this game for the Dolphins.
All right. Let's move. Let's groove. W meet. W over. W Texans. Let's move on to our squares. W Swiss Cheese, 5-stream streak. We appreciate you, Swiss Cheese. We appreciate you, Beast. Brooks in the YouTube is asking for a survivor pick. I would take the Texans. If not, I would take the Ravens. Jovan, any other thoughts there? I'm assuming you like the Texans.
Yeah, I'm probably with you on the Texans.
Okay. All right. Drake May, less than 1.5 passing tutties. Love the under in this game. Like the Browns in this game. And I think Drake May, for the first time in weeks, maybe months, is going to look like he has his hands full. He's going to look a little bit overwhelmed against a hungry Browns defense, coming off some momentum in their last game with that win. They got some new life. You got Denzel Ward back there. He's going to make things tough for Drake May. His fantasy score is a little bit lower than I thought at 18.5 after how he's been just balling and pretty much been a 22-plus piece guarantee every single time in fantasy the last couple weeks. One of the better fantasy quarterbacks this season, to be honest with you, top 5. And he's starting to get a lot of talk on TV, on NFL Network about a season he's having. It's very impressive, and I agree. He deserves the credit, but perfect time to fade. Mr. Drake May in this sneaky spot here with a hungry Cleveland team coming in, playing for their lives, playing for their jobs, and a defense that's known to play well and stand up a time or two. This is one of those spots with that total dropping. Fade Drake May, take his less than 1.5 passing tutties, one of the greener squares on Prize Picks. It's hit 4 of the last 5. The morning. Okay. Jamar Chase. Has to be done. Jovan, I'm 1-0. Fading Jamar Chase touchdown squares this season. Let's make it 2-0. after this week. You don't see them up there very often because they're so juicy to the over, but they're putting up there again after the best game of his season by far. Weird timing. We're seeing the square up there, Jovan, after a game that he just absolutely dominated. A game that people are saying Jamar Chase is back. A game that people are saying leave Flacco in there the rest of the season. He's going to take this team to the playoffs. Give me a fucking break, man. This is the perfect time to fade Jamar Chase. The perfect time to take the less than on his touchdowns against a stingy defense this weekend in New York, who's going to be without Sauce Gardner, sure, but let's not even act like he's been really good for the last season and a half. He really hasn't been. This Jets defense, though, with the total dropping, I think shows up. One of my favorite plays this weekend is the Jets to cover that spread. They don't cover that spread. This game doesn't go under with the total dropping if Jamar Chase scores a touchdown. And it looks like the easiest square of the weekend. Jamar Chase to score a touchdown, Jamar Chase to find pay dirt. You have to fade this square every weekend. If you do, you're winning 6-7 times out of 10. And here's another winner for you guys. Jamar Chase, less than half a rushing receiving touchdown.
Yeah, he ain't scoring. And you know why, Krabs? Because the other Chase is scoring in that game for the first time, I believe, since week 1. Chase Brown will be getting in the end zone. I think this is a game where if you're the Jets and you've seen what Joe Flacco does and just forcing the ball, as he should, to Jamar Chase all the way down the field, what do? You play a little deeper. Plus, the run defense isn't good as is. And we saw what happened once you actually had a capable quarterback throwing the ball, because obviously Jake Browning was not, but it forces the whole defense to take a step back. You can't load the box anymore because Jake Browning can't get the ball to Jamar Chase. You can't get the ball to T. Higgins. You can't do anything down the field. Joe Flacco obviously can, which is why the second there's the actual threat of that, what do you know? Chase Brown has a good fucking game and gets 100 total yards and didn't end up scoring, became pretty damn close. And now in a game that we like points, or at least I like points, he's going to be scoring today and getting back on the score sheet. He's going to have a day. And speaking of going right back to it, do you see how much Sterling Shepard got targeted towards the end of that game? And that was when the offense couldn't figure out a fucking thing. They looked awful. Now, you have a much easier matchup where I think he's not going to have as shallow of an A-dot as the last couple of games. He had to run nothing but drags and just straight mesh because the offensive line was getting mucked by the Lions defensive line, and Baker had no time and he couldn't get the ball downfield. So he was running 2-yard routes. So he had 7 catches, didn't go over his yards, but he was the most targeted on the team. Now you're going to have some deeper concepts, I think, for him, and probably more into the end zone, in a game that I think is going to be a little more back and forth and close. I don't think they're going to blow him out. So I don't think they're going to really leave the pass script over. But he's going to be just as involved as he was for the second half last week, except I think it'll be even more so down the field. So we're right back to it.
Absolutely love these 2 squares from you. Love them.
Wow.
And I don't love more thans. I don't. But I love these 2 squares. I love them. Sterling Shepard, Baker's guy. Baker begged him, please come back. Please don't retire. First of all, he begged him to come there in the first place a year or 2 ago. And then he's been begging him to stay and not retire. That's his guy. In a time of need, in a game we're going to see some points, Baker's guy, Sterling Shepard, is going to show up and show out. And Chase Brown, touchdown. The chart cannot be redder. Who wants to take this? Nobody but us. And that's when we win. That's when we win. I'm so in. All right. W prize pick squares here, folks. Could be a good time after we go over these honorable mentions to shift back and talk about our favorite plays for today and craft up a squad ride for tonight. But first, a couple honorable mentions I like this weekend in the NFL. I actually like the Bills. I like the Bills -7 on the road against Carolina, Red Hot Carolina. I like the Bills -7. I like the Giants and the Eagles under 43.5 after the Giants have been scoring and the Eagles and Jalen Hurts had his most efficient game ever. You think he's passing like that, like an actual real QB 2 weeks in a row? Give me a fucking break. You don't know Jalen Hurts if you believe that. Take the under in that game. NFC East, NFC Beast under. That game's going under. I'll tell you that right now. I feel it in my plums. I like the Saints +4.5. Sorry, Jovan. I like the over. Rare. I like 2 overs this weekend. I like the over in the Titans and the Colts game. And I like the Cowboys +3.5. I do.
Wow.
Jovan. Wow. Any honorable mentions you like?
Just for sake, because it wasn't on any of the previews, but Dolphins +7.5. To an anytime touchdown, +2,000. And I like the under in the Bills game. I think that one's going to be slow and a lot of running, I guess, for both teams, especially because Dalton's playing now, confirmed. So I think if there's any way of the streak is snapping with the Panthers playing like just the greatest team of all time at home, I think it's because the offense does nothing. So I like that under.
Okay. All right. Rob Mux has a question for us. It says, do you guys like Khalil Shakir this weekend? I'm not a big Shakir guy overall, but I like that his fantasy score is up to 11 right now after a couple new shit weeks. I certainly don't hate it. And I'm typically a Shakir hater. Jovan, any thoughts on Khalil Shakir?
I just think they're going to run the shit out of the rock in that game.
Okay.
I'd be a little concerned.
Okay. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. W Snowman, good to see you lurking in the chats. Could be a good time to fire up the old squad ride graphic. Goots, if you're around, if you're local, we don't want to run over today because we got the coin toss right after this live on the YouTube. Run that shit, Gootsy. I'm trying to see that train. Big day today, chat, for a couple reasons. We need a bounce back squad ride play, number one. Number two, we have a coaches fired system play, kind of. Coach jail system play might be worth a 2-unit play on the Trailblazers. We've also got a nasty play on the ice that I love. And got the Gobblers, man. We got the Gobblers laying 6.5. And I'll tell you right now, I like this play so much, I'll be driving to DC to lock it in later today. Yep,
Gobblers?
That's how much I like it. Driving to DC to lock in the Gobblers. Driving to DC to lock in Dick Gobbler the fourth. Yep, I am.
That just gives horrific vibes, Krabs.
That's how much I like that play.
Nah.
I said the same thing in the South Carolina and VT game. And I'm saying the same thing right now. Yep.
That's bad.
Yep. We're not going 0-2 on those reads. Nope. Literally driving to a different state or territory, I guess, to lock in the Hokies tonight. That should go well. That's just. Yep. That's how confident I am. Guys, if they don't cover tonight and you guys pick them to win the squad ride, and again, we got other options today too, but I'm telling you right now, if you guys pick VT to win the squad ride tonight and they don't cover, I will call the Hokie Club up live on the show on Monday and I will cancel my yearly donation on the stream.
I mean, you might as well go ahead and make the graphic.
Might as well not do a vote.
You don't even need a vote.
We got a coaches arrested in jail system. Classic BTL system. We got to take the Hokies tonight.
Hey, man. Pretty fucking confident, Goots, in the Hokies. Tired to get embarrassed, giving out the Hokies, saying they're good, saying they're winning the ACC title, saying they're doing good things.
I thought they were banned.
I'd have to be pretty confident if I'm going back to the Hokies tonight, wouldn't I? Pretty confident. And I'm also very confident that this Cal team's a bunch of frauds. I'll say it. Very confident. Maybe the QB isn't, but tonight he's going to look like a fraud. In Blacksburg, in the night. Shit gets weird on Friday nights in Blacksburg. Trust me, I'll tell you my personal experience. Shit gets weird. Shit gets weird down there in the night on Fridays.
How about that? I like that from chat. A no Hokies mention week on the line.
Ooh. Okay. I will spin the wheel, and I'll have a no Hokies mention week, and I'll give out $50 every time I mention them for a week if they win the squad ride and don't cover.
Ooh, I might like that better. From Kyle B. You see that one?
No.
Tail Trent's first touchdown until he hits.
Dude, come on. I'm not trying to go broke over here. Okay? Come on now. All right. Well, let's put the Hokies -6 in this puppy.
Put them in there.
Thank you.
Hokies, put the Jailblazers in there.
Are they still +1.5?
Yeah.
What else are we putting in here, man? Chat loved the Hawks, maybe a little too much.
Yeah, maybe that'll scare you off.
I certainly like that spot, but you tell me.
I mean, we don't have many other options. It's that.
I'd say Flames and we move on. Flames
I think
are
we put
running.
the Flames in here, man. I think that's a winner.
Put the Flames in.
We could put both in. We'll put both in?
Sure.
Okay, let's put both in. That feels right. Let's go Flames. And let's go Hawks plus 4.5. 4 plays, 3 minutes. 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 Go, go, go. Go, go, go. VT -6. Trailblazers plus 1.5. Flames on the ML and the Hawks plus 4.5. Go, 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 go. Hurry up, go, go, go. Hurry up, go, go, go.
Discuss potential Hail Mary 5 guys in these 3 minutes.
No.
What do you mean no?
Time.
What do you mean no?
I was going to use this time to get the Goots POD for today.
Okay. So you have that?
Goots.
What do you want me to rush it now? You've been saying don't rush it. Now you want me to rush it.
Don't force it, but also let's maybe pick up the pace here a little bit because whatever you're doing now is.
I'm producing the show. I don't have time to lab.
All right. We'll give you some time. You got 10 minutes. All right. People can find that on the Real Goots Hall X account. We'll find that POD later tonight if there is one. Okay. Get those votes in chat. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Trust me, JJ Miles. I want the Hail Mary bad enough, but what can be done in 2 minutes? That just sounds like rushing and stress for no reason.
No,
if we had 10 minutes.
Just some talks. Anything that's tickling Gem.
If we had 10 minutes, I'd say sure. I mean, if you want to throw out any options here in 1 minute, go ahead. But it's more focused on gassing up the vote.
Are we putting Goots in there?
Who, the Ravens?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, probably.
I feel like that's
probably
going to be in there.
It's probably going to be in there. Yep. Maybe even the Falcons still. Shit. Just throw a Service Academy in there again. I don't know, JJ. I'm hurt.
Yeah, the troops might not be allowed back. I'll say.
Yep. Get those votes in chat. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Get those votes in. Get those votes in. Get those votes in. Get those votes in. Like, what? No. I just don't get it, man.
No.
I don't get it.
No.
Love the Hokies. Love both plays. But why are we saving our votes for the end? This is not a game. It's not a game. Like, it's not funny. It's not cool. It's dumb. And it's a me guy move. If you're waiting to save your vote for the last 2 seconds of this poll, you are a me guy. You are no better than Jalen Hurts. You are a me guy.
Sneak Hurts in there.
You are me guy. Childish. All right, squad ride the Hokies. It's winning anyways. Doesn't matter. We'll catch you guys on Monday. Stick around in the YouTube for the coin toss starting up right after this. W Stream, W Goots, W Jovan.